both of these games. All right. If you're tuning in right now for the Pelicans and Pacers game, you are in the right place. This is Utah Sports, and tonight we are covering the March Madness NCAA board in a red channel, red zone vibe. So we'll be popping back and forth between those games. But really, our featured game of the night tonight is the Pacers and the Pelicans. I am a huge Zion Williams fan. I love Zion at Duke. I took my dad to the ACC conference. We saw all his games and have been following him since then. And I'm really looking to see that he can finally stay healthy and do something in the playoffs this year. And the Pacers, how fun have they been after winning the in-season tournament? Haliburton went down. He's back now. They traded for Siakam. We've seen him a few times on this show. So I'm really excited for this game. So if you're tuning in for this game, you're in the right place. We're going to be getting you game highlights and game updates and taking takes from our fans that are here up on Zoom. If you want to join us on Zoom, we would love to have you up here. I'll be putting the Zoom link into the YouTube chat. Just comment saying Zoom and we'll get you that link. Let's go first to Tyler for your take on this game. Tyler, what are you looking for in the Pelicans-Pacers tonight?
Yeah, so there's a couple key factors that I want to go over. So the Pelicans are already coming off a back-to-back. They were just in New York last night. They got a win over my Knicks, unfortunately. Yeah, I think they're going to be tired legs tonight. Zion was also questionable last night, and he gave it a go. And the Pacers are number one in pace, and I expect Tyrese Haliburton to really, really push the pace against a team that is coming off the back-to-back. So I think that is going to be a huge factor. So I see him pushing the pace even more than he usually does. I think just off tired legs, back-to-back and travel, I definitely see the Pacers coming out on top this time. But one key player to look out for the Pelicans, if they really want to rise up and try to get the win tonight, was Trey Murphy, the third, who hit 6 threes against the Knicks last night, was absolutely killing us. So if he can kind of almost replicate what he did last night, maybe not 6 threes, but that shooting really does keep them in the game. And yeah, I see the Pacers coming out on this, but I think it's going to be a close one.
Nice. I love that take, especially about the back-to-back. Those are things that really have a big factor in this. So we're checking in on this game. They're just about to tip off. This game is over on ESPN. I'm going to flip my TV over there. I would encourage you to do the same in addition to the college games we're covering here tonight. And I'm excited to see this. Let's go next to Ernest. What are you looking for in this matchup with the Pelicans and the Pacers, Ernest?
So what I'm looking for, to be honest with you, is to see if New Orleans and the Pacers, respectively, can hold their places right now in the standings. Because currently New Orleans they are at the 5th seed right now, ahead of Phoenix right now, and Indiana, they're in the play-in standings right now. So hopefully they can both teams can stay consistent of where they are now or grow, especially for the Pacers to be in the play-in tournament. Even though I don't want them to be over my Sixers. So. But also looking at top performers, like I said earlier about Haliburton and Zion, they're both averaging 20, with Haliburton also averaging a double-double. And also for the Pelicans, Valanciunas, he's averaging 13 and a 9, so he's almost averaging a double-double as well. So if they could contain both Zion and Valanciunas, that feels that Indiana would win, even though like they pretty much have a good chance. But with the spread being 4.5, I feel as though like you said earlier, it's going to be a close game, and I'm hoping it's going to be a good game as well.
Nice. Yeah, I'm excited to dive into this game, seeing that Zion Haliburton matchup. Hey, so I am putting into the Zoom chat here the link for our second broadcast. And what we need everyone to do is open up a new browser tab and just pull up over here in this YouTube broadcast as well. So we've got 2 broadcasts going tonight, 1 Zoom room because there's only 1 group of us, right? And so just go over to that one. Just put in with the chat who your pick is tonight. And for tonight's pick, let's use the spread. It's there behind me, I think. Go ahead and put in the chat who you're taking, as if we were betting tonight, and we'll circle back at that at the end of the night and see who actually is making their picks right. And this, if you want to pick the total too, I think it's up here on the screen. It's a pretty high total because this is a run and gun game. But how fun is it to sit back and take the over and enjoy the game? I think that's what most fans do, and most smart bettors probably take the under. The game is at a commercial right now. They're still getting ready to tip off. This is another thing that's been annoying me about the NBA. Just tell us when the games are going to tip off. You know, the NFL, 1 o'clock, they always tip off right when they say they're going to. Put the pregame show. They had NBA tip-off on for 30 minutes running up to this. Now it's time for the game to start. And they haven't started yet. So you haven't missed a thing. If you're just tuning in, you're in the right place here for, we're going to be hopping back over to our college red zone coverage and featuring this game. Let's try to keep these at 1 minute take so we can get through everyone before this game tips off. Go ahead, Alvin.
Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to see whether or not my Pelicans can handle a back-to-back on this East Coast road swing, because we're currently 1-3. We only got the Knicks. We lost the first 2 games on this swing, and we definitely need to prove tonight on this national stage against the Pacers, who are up-and-coming team who will be in the playoffs in the Eastern Conference. We need to show that we can bring that back-to-back night. I need Zion to show that on this national stage that he is him, despite the perception he's heavy on the boards and he might eat as many chicken wings as Shaq, being a few inches shorter. But I think we can do it tonight, and we're going to show it tonight.
Awesome. Looking forward to that. Hey, I don't know if that's your TV in the background, but you want to make sure you guys, as you come on, you don't have any background noise at all. It makes it really hard to get this. Let's go next to Dexter. What are you looking for in tonight's game? Dexter, Pelicans versus Pacers.
First of all, I just want to say I'm actually really proud of the Pacers, like front office. They usually don't like get stars, keep stars, and get guys like around those stars. They haven't in a while. I think not since like the Ron Artest, Jermaine O'Neal days. And Reggie Miller was like 50 years old then, I think. But I'm actually excited for the Pacers. I think Haliburton is the quintessential point guard. He can shoot. He can facilitate. I think he's definitely like one of the young point guards coming up. And I'm really excited to just see what he's going to do on the floor. And, I mean, Zion's going to be Zion. The Pelicans, I just think they need to get over the hump and actually maybe win a playoff series sometime.
Nice. Yeah, I love that take. Acknowledging Pacers ownership for making some moves, bringing in Siakam, trading for Haliburton, right? They've had a hustle to put this team together like a fantasy manager would. And it's working so far. I've been talking up Haliburton all year since they knocked the Celtics, my team, out of the play-in tournament. Although Porzingis didn't play in that, and it was Buddy Hield that shot us down in the tournament. I don't know why the Pacers got rid of him. So I've been talking up Haliburton all through All-Star Weekend. We covered his game on Monday, and the guy shot the bed against Toronto of all teams. So I'm really looking for a bounce back game from Haliburton tonight. Will, what are you looking for in this game tonight? It still hasn't tipped off. So we're getting all our pregame takes in. Go ahead, Will.
I got a sneaky view on Brandon Miller. Dude's a lot better than people think. A lot better. And they got CJ McCollum, so Pelicans got some dogs. It's not just Zion. And I think
Ingram, right? You mean you're talking about Ingram, BI?
Yeah, he's averaging like 20. And he's averaged 20 for a few years. He's no joke. So my hot take is some people might think it's just Zion Williams on that team, but they got some ballers.
Yeah, 2 Duke guys and McCollum in there. That's a big 3. You know, that's I'm expecting bigger and better things from them. Bobby, what are you looking for in this game tonight?
Hey, Greg. Hey, how's everybody doing? For me, guys, it's real simple. I'm just looking for growth. I'm looking to see who is going to take that next level, that next step to be a superstar. Because honestly, I love Zion's total ability, but I honestly think Brandon Ingram's a better basketball player. And then when we look at Haliburton, I mean, he had 9 points Monday. So I'm just looking to see which one of these guys are going to develop, going to grow. And really, that's what I'm looking for tonight.
Nice. Yeah, this is going to be two of the fun young players in the league here tonight. So we are broadcasting both games. We need to make sure everyone is over here on this game and in the chat here as well. This is Pelicans Pacers, and we've got our college red zone. Tennessee and Auburn. Auburn's closing the gap here as we're coming up to the half. We're keeping a close eye on that. If anybody's staying focused on that game, I'd love to get a halftime update with you from you on what you're seeing in that game. We are going to continue with our Pelicans Pacers updates until that game tips off. Let's go next to Andrew.
Just quickly, Auburn's defense has been phenomenal. That's what's been able to get them back into this game, the defensive intensity. My take on the NBA game is away from the court. Man, we had somebody in here complimenting the Pacers front office, the Pelicans. Why do the Pelicans want to beef with Stephen A. Smith all day and all week long? Just give it up and play basketball. Like, we get it. Zion is definitely a little big, and if you can't take that little gut check from Stephen A. Smith, then you guys are just too weak to be a top seed in the West. So my take is away from the basketball court, the Pelicans got to toughen up and hush out the noise and stop worrying about people talking about Zion Williamson eating a boatload of beignets.
I love that you're defending Stephen A. Smith. And I love when people have takes that I don't agree with here. Like, to me, like, first off, the stuff that the Pelicans social media company made, it was funny. And he's known for doing that. Stephen A. has done that to lots of players. So now somebody's doing it back to him. And it's like that bully that doesn't like it when somebody punches back. And it wasn't like Zion himself or the coach was doing it.
I agree. I just think that when you feed into what, like, they're doing exactly what Stephen A. wants them to do.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
He wants them to be annoyed, and they're buying into his game. And that means that Stephen A. is winning, and the Pelicans got to worry about playing the Pacers, not Stephen A.
Yeah.
You gotta call him Screamin' A. Smith. That's his nickname. I call him Screamin' A. Smith.
Yeah. Sometimes I have to mute it, I'll be honest. But I enjoy his opinions. You know, I'm rooting for him and what he's doing, you know, for the whole industry. Pat McAfee, Stephen A., those are the guys that are leading for everyone to have a voice in sports. And that's where we're heading. That's the void we're stepping into. Nothing would be better, by the way, for all of us than for Stephen A. to leave ESPN. If he leaves, it's the beginning of the end over there. Or if Pat McAfee gets kicked out, because that'll just, everyone will leave, and it'll really bring everything onto YouTube, which is exactly where we're going to be positioned. That's where I'm predicting, you know, things are going in the next few years. All right, let's see. Let's go next to Jeremiah. Give us your what are you looking for in this Pelicans Pacers game?
Quick take. I just seen if the Pelicans can keep up. They had 4 guys questionable coming into the night. Looks like all 4 are going to play, but they're not going to be 100% healthy. And Alvarado's still suspended. So want to see if they can keep up with the Pacers. I'm going to pick the Pacers, but I haven't been very good with my picks. So if I was everyone else, I'd probably go with the Pelicans.
Yeah, here they are announcing the starters now. Love to get a take on Herb Jones if anybody's been watching him. Right, the other 4 guys of the Pelicans starting lineup there are pretty well known. Looking at the Pacers lineup, Mathurin has been lighting it up. Miles Turner, of course, anchors things in the center, and Andrew Nembhard, the Gonzaga guy, has been solid for them as well. So looks like both the starting 5s are intact, and we're finally getting ready to tip off here. Let's go next to Cameron. What are you looking for in this game, Cameron?
Yeah, I think I have to agree with Jeremiah on taking the Pacers tonight. Pacers are a team that I've been watching since after the All-Star break. I was hoping they'd get that victory against Toronto, but that they were coming off a back-to-back and had beat Dallas by 20 the night before. So The thing about Indiana this year is they have some very impressive wins. They've beat Milwaukee twice. They've beat Philly. They've beat Boston. They had a good run in the play-in tournament. But then they turn around and they lose games to like the Wizards and the Hornets. Like these are games, and the Raptors. I understand it was a back-to-back, but that's a game you got to have if you want to start climbing the ranks in the East. But the Pacers, man, you got to watch out for this. When they're clicking, when this team is clicking, they're tough to beat. So I got the Pacers tonight. This is actually a back or a double header or a 2-game split between these two teams. They're going to meet each other again in a couple days, and the Pacers have either split or swept their double headers or 2-game splits with the team this season. So I don't think they'll lose to the Pelicans twice. They got home court advantage tonight. I think Haliburton has a good bounce back game, and they get the dub.
Yeah. Nice take there. Yeah, it's a good point about it being a back-to-back. What just happened on that Mathurin dunk? I don't know if you guys saw that. It looked like their game is underway now. Love to see Zion driving in here and just throwing it up, looking for a foul, though. That's not what we're looking for. Mathurin went in for a dunk, and
I think the ball just slipped out of his hands or something.
It slipped out of his hands. That was it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I have my sound off, so it can be hard to tell what is going on here. I gotta put the captions on this TV so I can hear them explaining to me what's happening in that game.
Indiana's new unis look good.
Yeah, I like those City Connects.
Yeah. The good point on those uniforms there. Kind of looks like something maybe going like comic book style. Cool. Rain, what are you looking for in this game tonight?
Well, I'm just trying to see who's going to play some defense at the end of the game. Either one of these teams to play defense. Indiana, when he was talking about Cameron was talking about they lose some bad games because they won't guard anybody. If it's feast or famine offensively for them, if they won't stick anybody. So and New Orleans is pretty much the same. And we give these guys a lot of grief about back-to-backs. Nobody's on either one of those teams in the starting lineup is over 30. I mean, come on now. Michael Jordan played 82 and he stayed being an assassin. We give these kids too much. Back-to-back, you 23. I mean, come on, you're supposed to be able to play all day. You know what I mean? Basically nobody, we're going to see who's going to play some defense at the end of the game because it's basically going to be an all-star game tonight. The over is 240. Indiana's averaging 124, but they give up 120. So, we see who's going to play defense at the end of the game.
Yeah, I think good call on that as far as the defense. Hey, let's make sure everyone in Zoom has just pulled that up over on YouTube. Just open up a new browser tab and have both of our YouTubes up there. We're going to keep the chat back over in our college red zone, and we're going to hop back over there right now and checking in on our college games because this Pelicans game is underway. Indiana's off to an early 7-3 lead. So we'll be keeping an eye on everything that's happening in basketball tonight, similar to the Red Zone channel. I love on Sundays going to the sports bar and have like everything hitting at once. That's kind of part of the vibe that we're going for here tonight as we hop back and forth through all these games that are close. Some of these college games are starting to close in on going to the half now. If anybody's been watching these closely, we'd love to get a take on these. Bobby, you still have your hand up, but I think you went already, right, on the New Orleans game?
I did. Sorry about that. I got my screen minimized.
No problem. Auburn hanging right with them. I love seeing that. If Auburn can win, this game's at Tennessee, right? If Auburn can win this on the road, that would be a really impressive win. Whereas if Tennessee wins, they're kind of just holding serve, in my opinion. That's what's expected to happen. Anybody that has big road wins in the conference, that's a good sign going into the tournament because it's going to be basically on the road the whole time in the tournament. Providence is getting blown out. That's a disappointing showing for them. Look at this. Duke is up 12 on Louisville. Those are our main games we're focusing on. This Oklahoma-Iowa State game we talked about a lot in our pregame is getting ready to tip off here at the top of this hour as well. When we get to halftime, which we're just a few minutes away here from, about 2 minutes from this, we're going to have you guys give your 1-minute takes. This is a fun segment we introduced this week. It's been working out great. In the past, I would kind of pick the topics and give you guys questions, and everyone would kind of chime in on it. Doing it this way, you guys pick what you want to give your take on, and it allows you to shine and stay within your strength, within your wheelhouse. I will say that our show is mostly about basketball and football. So if you want your take to hit with our audience, it should really be on basketball and football. I'm not saying it has to be, but if you start talking about things in baseball or other places right now, it's not going to land, because it's not what our audience is really into. And really, our audience is mostly here for the college basketball and the NBA games tonight. So the more you know your audience and can play to your audience, the more successful your takes are going to be. Let's just hop over to our chat and see what's going on in YouTube right now. And what I would love to see from you guys, let's have everyone put into our into the chat in YouTube who you're picking in the second half of this Auburn-Tennessee game. Go ahead and put into the chat if you're taking Auburn or Tennessee, if you're staying with your pick there now that Auburn's hanging tight. If that's maybe changed your mind on that. I'm going to put me in here. I'm going to go with Auburn tonight. And we really want to get the engagement going in the chat. Also in the chat, and we're over here in the chat for I'm in the wrong one, actually, for our college basketball game. Here we are, Auburn. It's okay if you're in the wrong one like I just did. But we want to be over here. And so I want everyone to pull up this chat. And as each of you guys gives your 1-minute take at halftime today, I would like you to respond to each other's takes in the YouTube chat. So a great take is something that's debatable. Sometimes people will say, will give us something, and it's kind of hard for anybody to disagree with that, right? That's not really going anywhere. I'm kind of giving some coaching now, on what we're looking for in the show. And so a great take is something that is debatable. It's best when you argue something that's actually like in a hole. Like the other night when I was telling you guys, Kevin Durant's not in my top 50 all time, and maybe not even in my top 100. I'll put myself into a hole that I have to argue my way out of, but those are the best debates that get everything going. So we want to drive up the YouTube engagement. So I want you to respond to each person's take in YouTube. And this is part of what we'll be looking for in our team members too, is that you're able to multitask, you're able to be in the chat and be in Zoom. If you're not in the YouTube chat, then you're missing a big part of what we're looking for you to be able to do as a co-host here. Respond to everyone, and you can respond either agreeing or disagreeing or just be encouraging. We also want to be a community that supports and encourages each other. And just telling each other, hey, that was a great take. That was interesting. That's another good thing to put in here. So that's what we're looking for in the chat here. So far, I see most everyone's sticking with Tennessee still for this game at home. We've only got 1, 2, 3, 4 people that have put in their oh, here we go, some more Auburn, Tennessee for this game tonight. And let's keep an eye on the score of that one. It's coming down now to the last minute before the half. I'm flipping my television now back between the Pelicans game and this Auburn game. The end of the half is a key time in basketball where you can steal some extra possessions, steal some points, and really steal momentum. So I'm looking forward to seeing what happens here. We got 49 seconds left on my TV. It says 50 seconds left here. They just went to a commercial. So let's continue to look at all of our games here to see if any of these are coming to the half. Duke's already gone to the half. Our Pelicans, Pacers. The Pacers are off to an early lead here. Interesting to see Miles Turner is leading and Haliburton again with no points yet. It's early, but it's starting to make me nervous. Yeah, the Pacers are my sleeper pick to make the Eastern Conference Finals this year, and not based on what I've been seeing of them here. All right, so let's just close out this last minute here. And before we go to half, if anyone has any takes on any of these college games from what you've been watching, especially if you're watching the last minute of this Auburn, Tennessee, we want to get those in. Rain, what do you see in Rain in these college games? I saw you had your hand up. Oh, we're not hearing you.
Well, I don't know. Tennessee is, Tennessee at home, man. It's going to be tough. Getting road wins in the SEC is tough. And, Auburn is staying, Coach Pearl got them, playing tough. But it's going to be tough to beat Tennessee at home. And, those SEC road wins, they don't come a dime a dozen,
Yeah, Auburn just nailed a 3 here. So it's 41-40. Tennessee's got another timeout. They are really, they're really working the clock here. I got to refresh because I referee high school basketball. And so like those rules are so in my mind. I can't remember. Maybe you guys can let me know. Is the NCAA have use it or lose it timeouts? Or do those timeouts roll over? I thought they rolled
Use
over.
it or lose it.
It is use it or lose it. Okay. That's why they're having so many timeouts here before half to get these commercials in. That makes sense. I know, Rain, you officiate too. Will, what are you seeing in these college games?
Tennessee's got a dude that might actually be the winner that a lot of people don't know about. And I've watched him a few times, but his name is Dalton Knight, and he's no joke.
Dalton Knight. Okay. I love having a player to look for, and especially going into March Madness, it's usually like a star player that rises to the top and hits the game-winning shot. So we want to look for teams that have those players. So we're still at a timeout there. Let's hop over to our Pelicans game and just see what is happening here. The Pacers now are up 13-9. Ingram's got 4 early. And Zion's already gone to the bench. Not sure if that means he's tired or got in foul trouble. Maybe that's how their rotation goes, but it seems a little bit early for your
I
star
think he's
player.
eating a sandwich or a burger, like they were talking about.
Yeah, he's got to lay off the food, right? I think that's what Stephen A was talking about, how he's sneaking food. But New Orleans food is pretty good. So can we totally blame them? All right, let's see. Here comes this Tennessee game down the stretch here. They're probably going to hold it. Oh, we went to the half. I missed it, huh? 44-40. Tennessee got a 3. What happened at the end there? I missed it. I was on the Pelicans game. Anybody see what happened in the Tennessee game? No.
Falls in a 3 from the corner.
Nice.
3 ball.
I can lift this up.
Nice. All right. Well, all our college games are at half now. So let's use the Zoom raise of hand if you want to give us your 1 minute take. And this is on any topic that you want to present on. We do need to keep these at 1 minute so that everyone gets to go. How awesome is it that we have this many people here? 13 people here tonight? We'd love to hear from everyone here. Part of our core values is that, everyone has a voice. Everyone is welcome to be a part of our community and share their take. We value everyone's opinion, everyone's insights. And so I'm excited to hear from you guys. We're going to stay on the scoreboard here for our Pelicans game and while we're doing the take. So let's go first to Andrew. Go ahead and give us your first take, Andrew.
My take is that John Shire is the softest man in college athletics. His crying over this weekend's court storming and calling for a ban of court storming is just crazy. During my time in college, I stormed the court twice. To this day, some of the most fun, enjoyable memories of my entire life. And if we're being real, the 2 big gripes this year with court stormings, Filipowski and Caitlin Clark, both of them initiated contact with the fan that they ultimately ran into. If you watch that replay over and over and over again, Filipowski goes out of his way to make contact with that other fan. I think that court storming should still be able to happen, but you just got to make it so that the players can get off the court. I'm a big Philadelphia guy. The Philadelphia Catholic League had a crazy buzzer beater the other night. Roman Catholic beating Archbishop Ryan. They stopped the court storming for like 2 seconds. Everybody got off the court, and then the fans came on the court. It's very doable, especially at the college level, and Jon Scheyer's just a baby.
All right, great take. Anytime you're calling somebody a baby like that, that's a great take. Let's have everyone respond in the YouTube chat. I just put the link in there in case you need it. Make sure you're in the YouTube chat and just give me either a response to that or a yes or a no about storming the court. And we're not going to move forward till we hear from everyone on this, because I can filibuster on this topic for a long time, and that could wind up using up all of our time here at halftime, and I'd rather give this time to you guys, but I want to get everyone engaging over in the YouTube chat. And so let's pop over there and see what you guys are saying about this in our YouTube chat. Here we are in our YouTube chat. So no to court storming. You should be okay with storming the court. We got some yeses. It's fine. We got 4 good responses here. Let's hear from everyone who's here. You know, first off, I want to say I totally agree. I think Jon Scheyer is not a good coach. I think he was not the right pick to take over, and that program is already not the same as it was under Coach K, which is very hard to do, to ruin something as great as Duke has been. I am not a Scheyer fan at all. I do not like his whining about the court storming, but I also don't agree that court storming is needed in sports. Sports is about the athletes playing, in my opinion. The fans have no need to be on the court. My home team in Tampa, USF, had a big win last weekend against FAU, made the Final Four last year. And security, they had proper security there. And I was very proud of them. Like, they did it right. This is a management issue, and there's just no need for that to happen on the court. You can go celebrate somewhere else. When it comes to basketball, football is completely different, in my opinion. Storming the fields in football, it's a much wider area. The players are in pads, a lot less issues. I am not in favor of allowing storming in college basketball. I don't see how that serves the game or us, the fans, the students. Like this, you're already at the game. You're already, at the game. In my opinion, it's an entitled attitude as a student to think that you deserve to be able to have that cherished memory of storming the courts. If that's your most memorable thing from college, you didn't have the same college experience that I had. All right, let's go next to Jeremiah. Give us your 1 minute take.
Yeah, and to quickly touch on the court storming, I think it's a little ignorant myself. The school I root for, we would never do such a thing, even if we were unranked and beat the #1 team in the country. It's not something we would do here. My quick 1 minute take, I'd like to talk about who people would take of the 2 superstars playing in tonight's NBA game to start a franchise with, whether it would be Tyrese Haliburton or Zion Williamson. And I think it's pretty easy. I mean, you ask yourself, who's more explosive? Zion. Who's more talented? Zion. Who puts more butts in seats? Zion. Who sells more merchandise? Zion. So I think the answer is easy. I'd definitely take Tyrese Haliburton. He's more available. He's dependable. He's dedicated. And I think he just wants it a little bit more than Zion does.
Yeah. So you were saying Haliburton overall, right? Between the two? So
Absolutely. I would take Haliburton over Zion.
Okay. Yeah, I like this because it's an easy one for you guys to respond in the chat. So let's have everyone respond in the chat. Who you would take, Haliburton or Zion. Obviously Zion has his injury history, right? So, and I'm going to try to take a take that rebuttals against all of you guys if I can. That's what we really want in a sports host, is you should be able to argue either side of anything at any point. And so, the case for Zion is his ceiling, right? If Zion can stay healthy, he can be a player that there's not another player like this in the league. He's very intriguing, Charles Barkley-like build that people will come out to see this once-in-a-lifetime player. So I would rather swing for the fences, have a guy like Zion who also can dominate on the court. Of course, he's an injury risk. To me, Haliburton is a hot right now. He's a young player. I'm picking the Pacers to go far, but in terms of who I would want for my franchise, I would go with Zion. Let's see what you guys are saying here in terms of Zion or Haliburton. Let's see, we got a couple Zions, some Haliburtons. Let's hear from everybody in the chat here. We really want to have everyone in the YouTube chat supporting each other's takes, supporting the community and the channel. And while we're checking the YouTube chat, let's go next to Tyler.
All right. Yeah, so the topic I want to bring up and my take is when we talk about we'll go the top 5 MVP rankings in the NBA. We hear the Shai Gilgeous-Alexanders, the Lukas, etc. But nobody that is bringing up Jalen Brunson. I really don't understand why nobody is talking about him more. Maybe because he's just become a household name. But if you look at the injuries to the Knicks that he's had to deal with, and the load that he's had to take for the scoring. I mean, this past February, he averaged 32.5 points a game, almost at 7 or 8 assists a game as well. He also is, I think, top 5 in the league in charges taken. So maybe he's not the best on-ball defender, I would say, but he always does everything to help his team. He's always going to give you his 100%. And the statistics really, really back it up. I mean, we're talking about actually valuable to your team. Let's really think about that. They take him out of the lineup yesterday, and the Knicks offense looks like they never played before. I'm just saying, if we really think about it, like the most valuable player, And
all right, good take. I love it. I love a take again. That's something we're not hearing from other people, especially if it's a hometown take or it's a player you're passionate about, like Tyler truly is with Jalen Brunson here. Let's have you guys respond in the chat and tell me, who do you think should get the NBA MVP at this point? And I'll respond to Tyler. I'm trying to respond to everybody's here. I love Jalen Brunson. I love winners. I love leaders. Jalen Brunson is both of those. I love the small guy. I've always been a Curry fan. Jalen Brunson is the small guy. I love Jalen Brunson. That being said, there is no way he's in my MVP conversation. If you look at the history of MVPs, the MVP award, and I want to see who you guys are saying in the chat here. Go ahead and tell us in the YouTube chat. If you look at the MVP awards, it's generally the best player on the best team in the league. There is one team that is clearly the best player in the league. There is one player on that team who is clearly the leader of that team. There is no case or precedent for Jason Tatum not to be the MVP this year. And he's not even in the conversation. The exceptions to this would be like the year Westbrook averaged a triple-double, or when something just absolutely off the charts is happening. Embiid, for example, just totally dominated last year. But in general, the award goes to the best player on the best team. That's what Jason Tatum is. And it is a crying shame that he's not getting those votes. Let's see who you guys are saying. Let's go next to Cameron. Go ahead, Cameron, and give us your take.
Yeah, I just want to ask the YouTube chat 2 questions. If you're the Bears front office, any Chicago fans in here too, I'd love to hear your insight. If you're the Bears, what are you doing with that number 1 pick? Are you trading? Are you trading it away and keeping Fields? Or are you trading Fields and keeping that pick and drafting Caleb Williams? What I don't understand is what do they not like about Justin Fields? Because I remember when he got drafted, the Niners had the 3rd pick in that draft, and we selected freaking Trey Lance, man. I wanted Justin Fields out of all, and honestly, if I could go back, I would want Micah Parsons, duh. But we didn't know Micah Parsons was going to be the player he was. But obviously, the Niners want a new quarterback. He's a talented player. Why is Chicago not using him right? And so this leads me to my next question. If Chicago does trade him, what team best fits Justin Fields? I guess the rumor on the block is Atlanta is the hottest team to pick up Justin Fields right now. And to me, that kind of makes sense. If I'm the Bears, go ahead, trade Fields, break it up, bring in Williams, and then get Fields, have him do a reset at his hometown, the Atlanta Falcons. They got weapons there. Raheem Morris just said it himself. They had terrible quarterback play last year, so he's looking for a new quarterback. I want to see, man, I hate drafting Kyle Pitts on my fantasy team and him not putting up that guy needs to be one of the top fantasy tight ends in the league. And
Cameron, I'm going to jump in
quarter-
because now you're getting into Kyle Pitts talk. So we want to try to keep the takes on one thing. You had two good ones in there. I'd love to hear from you guys in the YouTube chat, and we want to hear from everyone. I only saw a couple of you guys put in your MVPs for the NBA, and that's an easy one. Make sure you're over there in the chat.
Top fantasy tight ends in the league. And
Cameron, I'm going to jump in because now you're getting into Kyle Pitts talk. Now we got a replay going. Yeah. So what should the Bears do? And let's go ahead and put that in. Or who should the Bears trade Fields to? I'm totally with you, Cameron. At that draft, my Patriots were drafting. We needed a quarterback. Brady had just left. I was holding out for Fields. I was so disappointed when we took Mac Jones. Fields, they traded up and took Fields right before us. Chicago did. I really would have liked Fields. That being said, I think the reason you rebuild is about the salary structure. It's Fields has probably upside as much as Caleb Williams does. And so I think that's the rationale for drafting the quarterback. It's a salary structure deal. And what I loved about your take, though, what I hate about people who give takes is they'll say, well, if Chicago believes that Caleb Williams is a superstar, then they should take him. If not, they should keep Fields. You didn't answer the question when they answer like that. We're not asking you. We're asking you what they think they should do. So I'm asking each of you what you would do right now with the information we have. Obviously, we still have time leading up to the draft. We still have to evaluate what we think of Caleb Williams. So most everyone seems to be saying trade Fields, take Caleb in the chat here. And love to hear from everyone on this topic because it's a great topic we're going to be talking more about as the combine shakes out this week. And as we get more towards the draft coming up. All right, let's go next to Alvin. You're on mute there still.
Yes. Again, welcome to You Talk Sports Live, where we come for the community and as we talk sports. My hot take tonight is the All-Star game in the NBA. Let's just totally get rid of the slam dunk competition and throw that away with yesterday's garbage. And we're going to get rid of the East-West portion of the All-Star game and just make it All-Star roster, reduce that from a total of 24 for the East and the West to 8 and 8 for a total of 16. And how about we play 16 rising stars? One is going to make it more competitive. Two, offer the players $500,000 each for the winners. And I think because All-Stars don't want to get shown up by rising stars, it's going to bring that competition, especially when you have a rising star that legitimately had all-star numbers but didn't quite make it. Now they have something to prove. They get a national stage. All eyes are focused on them, from the old heads of the NBA to the fanatic fans. And now the fans have more vested interest to see whether or not that rising star like Wemby or Chet Holmgren or somebody could take it to LeBron and the gang, the typical things that we don't want to see. Now we have a little bit more skin in the game, make it more competitive for the fans. And after that, now the fans have someone they can follow in the second half of the season. So let's just get rid of that and try something new to bring more interest to the All-Star game.
All right, we already got people saying I like that in the chat. Let's hear from everyone if you like that or if you think that would never work. On the one hand, I like that it's a creative idea. The rising stars are going to be motivated to prove themselves. If you think back to the famous Dream Team with Larry Bird and Jordan and Magic on the Dream Team, they played a college team that supposedly beat them, and people are still talking about that 30 years later, right? So if the rising stars were to beat the team, that would be a great conversation piece. My fear in doing that would be that they get slaughtered because the stars are the stars for a reason, right? And the
100%, Greg.
The odds of beating them all is not very likely. I also one of the ideas I've been advocating for is that they pick 4 fans and let the fans be the captain, and then the winning team gets the fan gets the $1 million, because $500,000 to a player really isn't that much money, but it's a lot of money to a fan. And I feel like that the players are not going to want to let down that fan. That fan would get to come out for the weekend. And it would be, and like, if it was me, like, I'd be in LeBron's face, like, come on now, get out there and play some defense. I got $1 million. That's gonna, like, so I think that would be ultimate drama, and like, people would jump through all kinds of hoops to get to win that prize, right? They could make you play fantasy basketball and put in your lineup every night on the main website. And then they could, and take whoever's in the lead at the All-Star game, right? They could do a lot to get people to win that prize, because it's a really sexy prize. All right, let's go next to Will. Our game has gone to the end of the first quarter. College is at halftime. We're going to be updating the scores as college is just about to kick back off. The Pacers Pelicans is at the end of the first quarter. Go ahead, Will. What's your 1 minute take?
Future takes. Michigan's a bust this year, and lacrosse. I'm going to talk about lacrosse at some point, so stay on for those. But my take this year, or my take tonight, is I have been thinking about this. I think a college basketball all-star team. I'm gonna go football. I think a college football all-star team could beat an NFL team. So my hot take is a college football team. If you get all the best players together, you create a dream team. I think they could beat at least 2, maybe 3 NFL teams. So that's my hot take. I don't even think there's a question.
All right. So, yeah, I mean, it's an interesting take. I'd love to hear from you guys in the chat what you think of that. Again, and I'm trying to counterpunch with everyone in their take as to why it's not right. And so I'll just say with this, first off, for a team to actually play a game against college all-stars, they have no incentive to do that. Why would the Carolina Panthers want to be embarrassed to even be chosen for that game, let alone have to go out and play that game? There's no amount of money that would make anybody want to do that. And with football, and specifically the injury proclivity and risk is such a big factor in why they've basically gone to touch flag football right in their Pro Bowl now. Let's see what you guys want to respond to Will in the take. And up next is Jordan with your 1 minute take.
Hey guys, my take is like, I feel like everybody say that, like, the Dallas Cowboys, how about them Cowboys always live in their past and their championships and everything. But honestly, I feel like this NBA team, live on their past championships. And sadly, I'm a fan, is the Chicago Bulls. Like, the Chicago Bulls, every year, they always live off of their championships in the 90s and all that stuff. But how about now? Like, this team is god awful. I'm embarrassed. Like, I'm embarrassed. The 2 quote star players are probably the most inconsistent players like I have seen and witnessed. And sometimes they're like go into superstar mode, but other times I'm just like, what the hell? And it's so inconsistent. Like, last game, they lost to the freaking Pistons. The Detroit Pistons. Like, come on. Like, they need to blow up that whole team. Like, they need to blow up the whole team. Like,
they're trying, in my opinion, right? It's hard for me to go counter on this. They traded for Vucevic. Zach LaVine is hurt, right? Lonzo Ball was looking better. He got hurt. They're trying, but nothing seems to be working. DeRozan, right? They brought him in, and he's a little bit over the hill now. And I think you're right.
But they don't have no number ones. They don't have like no number ones. They have good 2s and 3 stars, but they don't have a good like number one. Like, nah, I'm gonna sit here and dominate the whole game, and that's what they need.
Yeah, totally right. And that's what every team needs is a true leader. All right, so let's just hop in the chat here. I want to make sure everyone's in the chat. It says we've got 7 here, so we're missing some people that are here on Zoom. We're going to start using the chat as far as who we call on for takes here. We need everyone in the chat here for this game. And then ideally, you're able to also be in our viewing the YouTube game over here as well. For some reason, maybe it doesn't let you view two in a row, two at the same time. It should, but we for sure need everyone on Zoom to be, to be over here on YouTube in the chat and in the views and in the likes. That's what's going to help in driving the views and pushing our coverage and our show out to more of an audience, so we can continue to grow this and have fun nights like this and get paid for doing this. All right, let's go next to Ernest. What's your 1 minute take, Ernest?
So my take is going to be real short. Yesterday there was a lot of conversation about the status of Bronny James and how he was dropped from the 2024 stock draft, from the mock draft, sorry, and was put on the 2025 draft, the mock draft. Obviously, with the situation that happened to him before the season started, there was nothing. Nobody expected for him to have the season that he's having. As far as the team itself, they're not really good anyway, with or without him. So I had said this for probably halfway through the season. I watched one USC game, and I was just like, I don't feel comfortable with the disrespect that's going on to him, and what LeBron is doing is kind of really overreacting and overdoing, talking about playing with his son and all that. So I feel as though they should have shut him down at least for the last couple of games of the season. So do y'all feel as though Bronny, with him, if he does have an off season, if he does put in the work that he was supposed to do before his cardiac arrest, do y'all feel as though he would be a lottery pick going into next season if he does everything he's supposed to do?
All right, so let's respond to Ernest's take here and in the chat, and give us your take. Do you think Bronny should come out this year? And really, I think the most controversial part of what you said was at the very end there, Ernest, that you think he can be a lottery pick next year. I haven't seen anything to indicate that. Now, granted, the kid is coming off of a life-threatening injury where all expectations need to be tempered. But even based on where he was in his class coming into college, he was not projecting as a lottery pick, and it's only gotten worse since then. That team was projected to be good. The team has the number one player in the class. And with him and Bronny as a role player, Rodman's kid is on that team too. They should be a lot better. The program is a mess right now, and it's likely because of all the pressure, all the speculation, all the LeBron attention that he's putting on his kid. And I think that, as Ernest said, LeBron really needs to step back. If Bronny comes out this year, it'll be just to make his dad's dream come true LeBron's always said he dreams of playing with his kid, right? So is LeBron going to let his son live his own life and do what's best for his son? Clearly, at this point, his son coming out this year would be a bad decision. He needs to develop his game, needs to come back next year. I totally expect LeBron to be a good parent. He's been mostly a good person in everything he's done in his personal life. I'll be shocked if Bronny comes out this year, and I will rail on LeBron for making his son's life about his dream, about LeBron's dream, if he comes out this year. The jury's still out on that one. Let's see what you guys are saying about this one here. And again, we've got 4 over here on this live stream. We want to have everyone in Zoom on the live stream here. We've got everyone in the chat. All right, let's go next to Dexter. Go ahead and give us your 1 minute take.
So I'm from West Virginia, and so we're really huge on family tradition, and hard working. And so I think one thing we need to question with tradition, sometimes it can go wrong. And I think maybe one team in the NFL that needs to look at this is maybe the Rooney family and the Pittsburgh Steelers, and how much mediocrity is going to be enough to tell Mike Tomlin that maybe it's time to go. And is Mike Tomlin's is maybe in that tradition of keeping coaches as long as they can, is maybe Mike Tomlin's legacy actually hurting the team in the long run. You know, the last couple of years, they've made the playoffs and been bounced out in the first round. And then also, like, their draft picks have been pretty questionable as of late. I think Kenny Pickett is a backup quarterback, to say the least. And if they keep going with this Mike Tomlin trend and just letting him just be like 2 games over 500, my take is I think in the long run he's going to hurt that whole legacy of hardworking tradition, blue-collar workers in the city of Pittsburgh, and they're just going to be a team of mediocrity.
All right. Great take from Dexter there. I want to respond to. Let's get everyone in the chat responding to should the Steelers fire Tomlin? And if they did fire Tomlin, would you snatch him up for your team? Because I think a lot of us would. And all of our games are back underway now in the second half. So we're going to be checking in on these. Tennessee and Auburn's looking like a great game. I've been keeping one eye on that. Our NBA game of the night, the Pacers were just up 20, but the Pelicans have cut it into that. There's always a run in the NBA, so we'll keep an eye on that as well. And I want to respond to Dexter's take here. I want to see what you guys have to say. So I love Mike Tomlin. I think he is one of the greatest coaches of all time. I think Kenny Pickett is awful. That was a terrible pick, a local pick. Likely comes from ownership. Tomlin's not the GM, right? So he's not necessarily pulling the trigger and scouting these players. But to be able to get a team to the playoffs with guys like Pickett at quarterback is very impressive coaching. To me, he is not the problem. Literally, I would snatch him up in a heartbeat if you fired him for Tampa or New England, my 2 teams. He's a Tampa guy. I really regret that Tampa let him get away somehow in the first place. I don't know how the Steelers ever got him. And I think that it's a sign of a really spoiled fan if you are tired of Tomlin. He is not the problem in Pittsburgh at all, in my opinion. And it's a quarterback. How do you win? It's a quarterback's lead. You can't win without a Hall of Fame quarterback. And if they can bring in Russell Wilson or somebody decent, they might have a shot this year. All right, let's go next to Rain, and then David will close out this segment. Then we're going to get back into our games. We'd love to get updates on these college games. If you guys are keeping an eye on the college games, we want to go around the horn and get check-ins on what you're seeing, especially in that Tennessee-Auburn game. Tell us who's hot, who's carrying them. Go ahead, Rain, give us your—
All right, my first take is just to respond to the MVP. I think Michael Towns, the Cat, is really, really stepping up to be an MVP, best team in the West, toughest division. Definitely like Tatum. But my first take is the Mahomes rules. Now we're talking. Now we're talking about putting some pads on this guy, touching this guy up. Under the rules, but the Raiders has definitely put a target on their back. But you know what? I love to see that because we're definitely going to be a defensive-minded team. And the only way to beat Patrick Mahomes is putting some pads on him. So if we can keep up with those Mahomes rules, Raiders are going to be something to reckon with.
All right. I love that take. What do you guys think about the Raiders? Can they make the playoffs this year? Let's hear from you guys in our YouTube chat here. We want to make sure we've got everyone in the YouTube chat. And I think you're nuts. I do think that the way you beat Mahomes is defense, and the Raiders did an awesome job of that. That one game they won, I think they had 2 defensive touchdowns, like really fast, and they beat Mahomes in that game. But the way to win in the NFL these days, it's a quarterback league. The days of defense wins championships are gone, and you don't have a quarterback. And that's the most important position to have a shot at beating Mahomes. You need somebody that can go toe-to-toe with him. I feel like the whole AFC these are 50-50 games between Josh Allen, between Lamar, between Burrow when he's out there, and Mahomes. And Mahomes is slightly better. I give him like 52-48 over those guys, which is just enough of an edge. He just gets enough breaks. He makes his breaks. But any one of those guys can beat him. That's why I don't think he's going to dominate the next decade at all. Those guys are all just as good as him. If you don't have a quarterback, you're out. And that's why you got to draft one. These are like buying lottery tickets. That's why the Raiders probably take a chance on Penix or Bo Nix or somebody this year as a lottery ticket and then try to develop something. David, go ahead and give us your first take, and then I'm excited to check in on this Auburn-Tennessee game.
Yeah, for sure. That's been a fun game so far. People keep taking my takes, so something that I had to switch over, pivot to the last minute is the Clippers just did a rebrand of they're moving into a new stadium next year. They just rebranded it. To me, everybody's saying they love it. It looks like the exact same crap they've been doing for the last 20 years. It's the white and red, the blue and white. It's terrible. I think it's terrible. They had a chance to completely rebrand. They're still Los Angeles. They missed a golden opportunity. They could have been the California Clippers. Even their little sea shark compass thing, it looks just like the Mariners logo. I think it's absolutely terrible. I think they totally missed the mark. People love it for some reason. I think it's god awful. It looks the exact same. And so mediocrity is what they've always been. They're going to continue to be mediocre. It doesn't matter who's playing for them. Kawhi, Paul George, James Harden, Steve Ballmer's the owner. They keep settling. They had a great chance to do something wonderful with their rebrand, and I think it's been tragic, to be honest.
I'm glad you brought that to my attention. I hadn't seen this yet. Yeah, they look like the Knicks, right, with that orange and blue. I love your idea of going as the California Clippers just to try to get out of the Lakers' shadow. I think that would have been a bold move for them to claim the state like that. So I like that clip. Let's have you guys chime in, yay or nay, on the Clippers in the chat. All right, and then we're going to circle back to our college games. Before we do that, I want to take a minute to have you guys vote in the chat right now for who had your the favorite take, or what you think was the most controversial take, the take that would do best in a reel or a short promoting the show. And you can't vote for yourself. And I'm looking to see who gets voted for, but here's the bigger thing I'm looking for. I'm looking to see who votes. If you don't vote, if you don't acknowledge and appreciate someone from our community, you'll be out of the running and out of the voting, because that's the type of community we're building here, where we encourage each other, we support each other, we build each other up. And so I'm really looking to see who votes and who doesn't vote. I'll be checking both of our chats just in case some of you are in one chat and some of you are in the other chat here, and give you just a minute. Tell us who you're voting for and what you liked about their take. And we'll be going through those chats. Let's check in on our college scoreboard. Auburn, Tennessee is looking like the barn burner we thought it would be. I've been watching that game on my TV here. Missouri's closing the gap on the Gators, but running out of time. And Marquette, of course, is crushing Providence. Duke seems to have Louisville pretty much in hand. This game has tipped off. This Oklahoma-Iowa State game is a fun one to watch. If any of you guys have streaming, that's looking like that's going to be a really good game we were talking about. So I'm excited to see how that goes. Oh, nice breakaway and bucket there. And Auburn has the lead now. I love it. I love this. We're looking at an upset in the SEC. They're going back and forth. The refs are letting them play. This is basketball, man. This is the beauty of college basketball. There you got post-up games going. None of this half-court threes crap like we see in the NBA. These are kids playing their hearts out. I love it. I love college basketball. For so many reasons. If anybody has a take on this Auburn-Tennessee game, we'd love to hear from you. Also, if you're watching the Pelicans game, we're going to get some halftime check-ins over there at the Pelicans game. It's a 12-point lead with 5 minutes to go. Looks like Turner and Siakam are carrying things. What's going on, with Haliburton? We need somebody who's been watching to tell us why Haliburton is not leading the way here, not in the game even right now. I'm keeping an eye on this Tennessee game, and let's pop over to see about our voting right now. So as far as voting. This is not really the chat we're in. Most of us are in this chat here. So we got one vote for Dexter with his Raiders chat. We got this Chicago vote here. I'm going to actually queue up my Loom recording and screen share. So last call to put in your vote here. As you can see, I'm going to record this and see who has voted and who's getting votes here tonight. I'll give you one more minute to put that in before we close the voting for tonight. And we do appreciate everyone's takes and welcome you to come back on the show as fans. Or to audition to be on our team. You know, we're looking for takes that can help us grow the show. There was a lot of good takes tonight. You guys are getting better and better at doing the takes as we fine tune the process. And yeah, this game, Auburn, Tennessee, is going back and forth, and just a lot of fun to watch here. Both these teams are rising in my March Madness predictions for them. All right, so let's hop over to the first chat here and just screen record this because we do have two chats going. I know that can be a little confusing. You only need to be in one, but we'd like everyone to be in at least one of the chats. Fire up Loom here. Loom is our screen recording software, and it just makes it easy for us to record this moment in time here. So this is recording some of the chat from the Pelicans game, and this is our main chat that all of us are in here. This is our chat for this game here. So we got Jordan chiming in about Auburn's post play. Yeah, I love that. Missouri made things interesting versus Florida. We got chat about the arena here. I got to scroll up a little to find you guys. Raiders take was controversial. I liked Alvin's. I'm over the current All-Star events. Chicago Bears take was intriguing conversation. I like David's on the Clippers logo. David giving Cam love, even though he stole his take. Raiders take seems to be getting a lot of our votes here. Jordan had a great take. The MVP question. Tomlin needed to go. And Tyler's MVP take, his hometown passion came through. Yeah, I do like, hometown passion is definitely something that we encourage, right? Because it's something each of us can uniquely bring to the show. So great job by everyone on those takes. And let's make sure we got those recorded here, and we'll turn off Loom. And let's just see if that Gators game is coming down to an end. And it is, and they are up 11 right now. So not looking like we're going to see much there. Will, what are you seeing in these games?
Haliburton is not shooting the ball, man. Like the past two nights, he has not shot the ball. He was like I think he took the fourth most shots last night. And tonight, I don't even know if he's even taken tonight he's not even in the top 3 or 4 either. So something's weird. I don't know. He's really good at assists, I know, but
yeah, I was gonna ask how many assists does he have? Because he good, he's the leading assist, leader in the league, so he can be feeding somebody who's hot on their team. So
Haliburton. So he's plus 13 on the plus minus. He's got 4 assists and 5 points, and we're not to halftime yet. He averages 11.5 assists, so he's under his assist average. He's on a record-setting pace. I don't think anyone's had that many assists per year since Steve Nash. He is getting minutes, right? He's got 14 minutes, 4 shot attempts. He made his only 3, so it's not like he is off. The other night, he was taking a lot of shots and was off on Monday.
Yeah, last night he took 11. He was 2 for 11. Siakam took 22. Another guy took 14, and then another guy took 17. So he was high up there too.
Yeah, so let's looking at this game, it may Haliburton and Siakam may not be fitting in together. That could be what's happening here. It'd be good for some of you guys to keep an eye on that and give us a report tonight, because that's something that nobody's really talking about yet. Andrew, what are you seeing in tonight's games?
I actually shut off the NBA game after that dominant first quarter from the Pacers. I got the Auburn Tennessee game on, and on my iPad, Oklahoma Iowa State. Oklahoma's 2 leading scorers are 0 from the field, and they're leading the Cyclones on the road. So that's obviously a great start for Oklahoma. You can't imagine there are 2 guys that are combining for 28 points a game are going to be shut out for the entirety of the contest, and they're in a position where they're leading early on.
Yeah, that is a good sign and a good update there. That's a game we're going to definitely be keeping an eye on today. Yeah, the Indiana opened up a 20-point lead. It's down now in our NBA game of the night to 6. So they're clawing their way back. I feel like this always happens in the NBA games. There's always these ebbs and flows like this, but we definitely want to keep an eye on our college games too. I'm watching Auburn's now up 5 on Tennessee. Wow, this is a big upset in the brewing here. Remember, most of you guys picked Tennessee. Even at halftime, you were still picking Tennessee. Let's go to Jordan. What are you seeing in these games tonight, Jordan?
Well, first of all, thank God for VPNs. I can able to actually watch it actually on my computer and on my phone. So thank God for VPNs. But I'm actually watching this Auburn and Tennessee game, and honestly, I'm actually very much impressed of their defense paralysis. Like their defense is honestly making their winning, and I feel like Auburn is definitely. I don't think nobody wants to face Auburn in a tournament. I don't know. Nobody's going to face Auburn in a tournament. The only thing with Auburn is who is going to step up when it goes to the tournament calls. Who is going to step up? Is it going to be their big man? Like I think the guy's like going 7 for 10 this game, but it's like, is he going to do that every game?
Yeah, so this is their main guy. It looks like Broom, right? Let's kind of dive into this. This is what we can do here. Look at this. He's from Tampa. Plant City is here in Tampa. I didn't even know about him. He probably didn't play at the public schools here where I referee. So Broom is a junior. So I wonder, let's see if he is a transfer portal guy or where he came from, right? So a team that's led by a big guy, that's not something I like really going into the tournament. Typically you need a guard to kind of close things out. But he's a guy for us to keep an eye on today. Let's see who else they have here. Trey Donaldson is their point guard, 3 assists a game. It doesn't sound like much, but in college, that's pretty solid. Looks like he's a second-year starter here at the point. So as we dissect this Auburn team, this is what, is really interesting. And we're going to be able to do in preparation for March Madness by us being here and looking closer into these games. And I would encourage you guys, as you're watching, that game's on a commercial right now, click into it and dive into this and give us what you're seeing in the reports. I do this all the time when I'm watching a game by myself. I see a player, I click through, I read his Wikipedia page, I see where he came from, I see what a coach is about. All those little nuggets of research are what we want to replicate. If we're all doing that, think about the collective, knowledge and fun that we'll have learning kind of the stories of these players and being able to make the best picks when it comes to betting. Just looking at Auburn's schedule here. So they lost to Kentucky. And, I still think that Fab Five is going to come together pretty nicely there under Calipari. So they're looking like a Sweet 16 pick of mine. They beat Georgia pretty handily. They beat a ranked South Carolina team by 20. They beat Alabama, beat Ole Miss, who's decent. Mississippi State, they lost to. And they lost at Alabama. So yeah, I mean the SEC is tough. It's tough. Let's see what do they have coming up. They have a pretty easy track to close this out. Although Mississippi State is is decent. They're on the bubble of being ranked, but these are probably the 2 weaker teams there. So this is a big win. I mean, it looks like they'll be rolling if Auburn continues with this. Let's also take a look at Tennessee and, what we can expect for in Tennessee. So Tennessee tonight is being led by Necht as their guard. If anybody has a take on Dalton Necht, would love to hear that. So senior, I like seeing that, right? Going into March Madness, a guy with a lot of experience. He was on that team that knocked off Duke last year, 20 points per game scorer. He's a 6'6" senior. Be interesting to see if he plays more inside or outside, right? You can't always tell with a 6'6" guy. He's a guy for us to take a look at as and there he goes, right? Is that Nick right there with that back door
Nice
for a
dunk.
dunk? Yeah.
Nice dunk.
Right as we're talking about him, his ears were ringing. So that's impressive. That's an impressive play, impressive player. Let's see what else is going on.
He's actually having a very quiet night. He hasn't been really shooting the basketball really well tonight.
Well, we still got quite a ways to go in this game too, right? 11 minutes to go. So we'll see. I mean, he's got 17 points, Nick, right? He's 4 of 11.
He's being aggressive. He's being very aggressive.
About saying he's not shooting tonight. He's got 19 now. He just scored again. Let's check out this guy. I do here. 6'11" guy from Durham. I spend a lot of time in Raleigh, Durham. That's where my parents live. So he looks like their big bruiser on the inside. Looks like a nice 1-2 punch here. He's a third-year player. First year really starting much, it looks like, getting 24 minutes a game this year. Came off the bench last year probably with 5 minutes there. $63-60. Auburn is up. Let's pop over to our NBA game. We've got 64-53 right now at the halftime. All right, so at halftime of this game, I want to really feature these teams. I would love to get a take from you guys on each of these teams. On what would you pick one of these teams? What would they have to do, or what would have to happen for them to make a run to their conference finals? Let's make the case of either of these teams making a run to the conference finals. What would have to fall into place? What would they have to do? What would the matchups be they'd have to get for them to make a run to the conference finals? Because they're both, I would say both of these teams are sleeper picks that people are talking about. And so let's dive into that inside and out and see what would have to happen for either of these teams to make a run. All right, we'll go first to Dexter.
So I think for the Pacers, I actually think that they need to trust in Pascal Siakam a little bit more. Seems like the only guy on the roster that actually has some deep playoff experience. He played with Kawhi Leonard. Even though that Kawhi was the leader of that team, Pascal Siakam, he was a dog in those playoffs when they won it all. So I think that the Pacers should maybe Pascal needs to grow up a little bit more. Who knows? But I do think that if the Pacers want to make that jump, they got to trust in the guy with the playoff experience. The Pelicans, I think what they need to do is they need to figure out if they want to be one of those teams like the Atlanta Falcons who just want to play basketball, or the Atlanta Hawks who just want to play basketball and have fun and just throw up baskets and shots. Or do they actually want to grind? Because in the West, you have to take basketball seriously from October all the way to the end of the season, because the West is too hard for you to be playing around and playing a highlight basketball.
Yeah, good points there. Let's going forward, let's just pick one or the other so we don't steal the thunder for everyone here. Just either give us a take on the Pacers making a run or the Pelicans making a run, not both. Interesting comparison to Atlanta Hawks. Atlanta made the Eastern Conference Finals a few years ago. Trae Young, just hasn't been able to sustain. I haven't seen enough of their games to see why they've fallen off so much. This Tennessee Auburn game is tied right now. We're keeping an eye on that. Our Pelicans game is at half, and we're taking takes on these NBA teams. Let's go next to Andrew. What's your take on why one of these teams could make a run or to the NBA Finals?
I think it's way easier for the Pacers to make a run to the conference finals. I don't think either of them really have a chance to make a run to the NBA Finals per se. When you look in the East, The Pacers currently sit at the 8 seed. Half a game separates them from the 5 seed Miami. Miami's kind of reeling. The Sixers are right behind them. They're definitely reeling without Joel Embiid. If you can face off against the Cavs in the first round, or maybe even better if they get the 5 seed, the Knicks, those are both winnable series. Maybe you find your way into a second round series with the Bucks. I've already voiced my opinions on Doc Rivers on this channel before. Doc Rivers is just a joke of a coach. He's just going to come on you guys to death and then maybe face off against the Celtics in the conference finals, where they'll probably lose in 4 games.
Yeah. Yeah, I think looking at the standings, like you were saying there, Andrew, I was trying to pull those up as we were talking. Is the best way to try to map out a path for how they could get there. They'd have to beat either Milwaukee or Boston, right? Because one of those teams is going to run up into them in the second round. So that's, I think, what makes it tough. Will, what do you think? How could the either one of these teams make a run to the conference finals?
I'm kind of sold on the Pelicans after tonight, honestly, and they're not even. I think they've dealt a lot with injuries. So I'm looking, it's not common that they have Zion, Brandon, and CJ all playing together. And I think when all three of them are together, they got a shot at doing something. I think injuries have kind of slowed them down, but they don't have a weakness. They got a big man. They got a solid point guard. Zion and Brandon Ingram are both solid scorers who I can trust, I mean, I can trust them in big moments, I think. They both have scored a lot. So it's interesting.
Yeah, I think you make a great point. We haven't really seen what this big three can do for a season. The best chance at them making the conference finals is for those three to gel and heat up, and for Zion to stay in shape and keep cranking. All right, let's go next to Tyler. Give us your take on why one of these teams could make it to the conference finals.
I could see the Pelicans. One sole reason is that they need to stay healthy. If you look at their team, they have their outside scorer with CJ McCollum, who's been in those deep playoff runs with Damian Lillard in Portland. Also, if you look at it too, Brandon Ingram and all three of those guys have been injury prone their whole career. This is like the first year that none of them have had a severe injury, even though I think Ingram did start maybe injured in the beginning of the year, but they're all kind of sustaining that right now. I think really that is their biggest key going into it. The West is tough for sure. And I just think if they're all healthy, they're going to be such a tough out. They have guys like Trey Murphy who can spread the floor. Herb Jones is a great perimeter defender who's also now hitting his threes, which I was watching the other night against the Knicks. So I really think it's really predicated on their health. And just really quick, the Pacers, the game slows down in the playoffs. I don't think they play enough defense. I think they'll be a fun watch in the playoffs, but I don't see them making a run.
Yeah, Herb Jones is kind of the wild card, a 3-and-D guy, as Tyler points out. We got another vote for the Pelicans being most likely to make it here. All right, let's go next to Jeremiah. Which one of these do you think is most likely to make a run to the conference finals, and why?
Of the two, I like the Pacers making the conference finals. I feel they need to be in the portion of the bracket where they would not have to face Boston before getting there. They got a good bench. Obi Toppin coming off the bench. Guys like Aaron Nesmith and Miles Turner starting, getting quality points. I just like their chances going through the East, other than Boston, better than New Orleans going through the rest of the West.
Got it. All right. Let's go next to Tyler.
I got to lower my hand. That's my fault.
Oh, yeah. Up next is Jordan. And just to check in, Auburn, Tennessee is tied. We're keeping one eye on that. Our NBA game is at halftime right now. Jordan, which one of these teams do you think is most likely to make the conference finals, and why?
Honestly, I definitely feel like it's going to be the Pacers. The East isn't really like a powerful conference. Like literally looking at the standings right now, they're like tied. They're like tied between the Magic, Sixers, and the Heat. So it's a good chance they can get up to fifth place and everything and that stuff. And then also I feel like if the Pacers use the same thing that would happen with Atlanta Hawks back in like 2021. If they use their youth to their advantage with a rim protector like Miles Turner to keep, just to keep the protect the rim, I think they could be able to at least get into the conference finals and face somebody like Boston.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. I like it. Let's go next to Alvin. Which one of these teams you think is most likely to make the conference finals and why?
Well, of course, we don't bow down. The New Orleans Pelicans. Yes, the mountain is hard to sledge, the going up. But of course, what we're talking about to make the conference finals, our true X factors, because once we get to the playoffs, the benches get shortened. The X factor is Troy Murphy. We know what we're going to get from Jones. Jones is that perimeter 3-and-D guy, but Troy Murphy could have an opportunity to be special on that stage. Not only can he knock down the three, if he gets hot on the three, there's not too many people that can block his shot at his size. Plus, people don't realize how often both his feet touch the paint to dunk on somebody. So I think Troy Murphy would be our person to look for in the conference, because we really need to talk about how are we going to play against Denver, Minnesota, those two teams that you have to show it. And what I'm kind of disappointed about tonight, when I was talking about the back-to-backs earlier, real quick, they came out so sluggish in the first half. We were getting out rebounded, out points in the paint, almost like they were disinterested in partying too much with New York. You got to show me that you can play well with playoff contenders. You've already shown us that you can beat the teams you're supposed to beat. Now take the next step and beat the teams that are special, like these playoff contending teams.
Yeah, so I love you highlighting Troy Murphy, who's not even starting for the Pelicans tonight. With Murphy and Jones in there as a nice 3-and-D, they could keep a fresh guy in there. I think that's a really good point, and that could really help. All right, let's go next to Ernest. Which one of these teams you think can make the conference finals and why?
So really looking at both the Pacers and the Pelicans schedule, I could really see the Pacers really having a run going into either the playing, like being the 7th seed, the playing, or being a playoff team like a 6th seed or a 5th seed. And then like the name of it is, like I said, or like people have been saying about the strengths of the conferences. The Western Conference is very strong right now. With, like you say, you can't count Denver out, Denver, Phoenix, OKC, Minnesota. Like there are a lot of teams that are battling for not only playoff spots but for seeding as well. So you may never know who Indiana. I mean, not Indiana, I'm sorry, New Orleans, who they could really play. But in Indiana, like really the only teams that they really could see is possibly like the Cavs, the Knicks, like depending on seeding and or that they're in the play-in. And it's just an easier path for Indiana to get to the conference finals. So really, like I said, to be simple, it's just conference strength and scheduling wise, it's like their strength of schedules, who has the best run going into the playoffs. And in my opinion, the Indiana has the best chances due to the strength of their schedule and to the strength of the Eastern Conference.
Got it. All right. Let's go next to Cameron. Which one of these teams you think is most likely to make the conference finals and why? And then Ray,
Yeah,
I
think the Indiana Pacers, especially with the new addition of Pascal Siakam. I know a lot of people are wondering why Haliburton isn't leading the Pacers in scoring, but you got to realize there's a new 1-2 punch in Indiana now. I mean, Haliburton's averaging 21.5. Siakam's averaging 21.1. He's right behind him. And also they have great role players, Miles Turner, who's averaging 17 points, and a new up and rising star in Benedict Mathurin. He's led the Pacers a handful of times this year in scoring for the Pacers. I love how deep this team is. And the thing about the East, man, is it's the Celtics versus everybody. And that's how I see it in the East. There's got to be another team to rise up. Last year, it was the Miami Heat. A couple years ago, we had mentioned earlier, it was the Atlanta Falcons. I just see one of these lower seeded teams to make a deep run. Pacers got fun offense. I think their offense can get them to the first round for sure. I don't think they'll win the finals. I think it's the Celtics year, but I think the Pacers can for sure make a run behind Haliburton and Siakam and a handful of good role players.
All right. We heard from Cameron. Rain, which one of these teams you think can make the finals and why?
I agree with Cameron. You know, the Pacers definitely got some young guns. They got a puncher's chance. You know, catch them in a series, they can outscore you. You know, possibly they can run up against Doc Rivers' Milwaukee defenseless Bucks, and they probably can outgun them. You know, maybe Boston might put more of a defensive clamp on them, but I think the Pacers are a dangerous team. You know, any given night they can outgun you.
Yeah, I mean they can outscore anybody in any given night. So and I've been saying they're my sleeper pick for the Eastern Conference Finals all along. Although I'm not loving the way they played on Monday. All right, so let's just sum this segment up. Let's have I just put the link in there to the YouTube chat. Let's have everyone go over to the YouTube chat and just put in there which team they picked, or if you didn't give a take, still at least vote in there which team you're picking for the conference finals. And then I want to give you my take on this. I try to wait till the end so I don't steal anybody's thunder, and anything that's kind of been said, I try to, erase and not use so that we're doing some unique stuff. So in order to pick a team to make a run to the conference finals, I start with looking at the standings, which some of you did, but not everyone kind of referred to this. Right. And so I said you could kind of cherry pick who they would play. And so let me start by doing that. Right. So in my scenario, best case scenario for the Pacers is that they finish. Well, we would want them to play in the 4-5 game. Right. The problem with that is that gives them the Knicks, the easiest first round matchup. But then they'd have to play Boston in the second round. So that's not going to happen. So I can't use my strategy of, well, if they played New York right now and Randall's hurt and Obanoan is hurt, then that could be good for them. So that's out. So I got to say, well, the Pacers would have to go through the Cavs, which the Cavs are hot and talented, but they don't have a lot of playoff experience. And then Donovan Mitchell versus Haliburton, I'll probably take Mitchell's head-to-head in that. So I don't love that. And I think the rest of the Cavs roster is better than the Pacers roster. But even if somehow the Cavs did win, they would then have to play the Bucks. Now, Haliburton versus Dame, maybe the young guy decides to guard and out hustles Dame. You know, Dame can be beat. He's been beat before, but then you still got to deal with Giannis. And they don't really have anyone to really guard Giannis. Siakam's not going to be able to do that. The big guy's not going to be able to go outside with him. So I don't like that either. So basically, if you picked Indy, you're telling me that you think they can beat the Bucks and the Cavs on the road. That, I don't like either of those things. To me, both of those things are like 35% chance games for that team. As much as I like the Pacers, if we look at the path, I don't see that happening. I think the winning pick, which most of you didn't pick, is the Pelicans over here. So let me cherry pick where I would want the Pelicans to be. Right now, they're in the 5 hole. I'm happy with them being there. So if they're in the 5 hole and they get the Clippers, it'd be a young team against a veteran team. I like their odds, especially the Clippers tend to have somebody hurt all the time in the playoffs. They haven't really made a run with that crew gelling at all. So I think that's a 50-50 series with all the great points you guys did make about the Pelicans having, the 2, 3, and Ds there with Murphy. I didn't really know much about Murphy until you guys told me about him. So I like that. To me, that's a 50-50 series. And then if I get to cherry pick who's in number 1, I'll take the Thunder, right? Let's suppose they have to go through the Thunder. To me, that's again another very winnable series. The Thunder have no playoff experience. The Thunder are a younger team. They don't really have anybody that's going to guard Zion or Ingram, right? They're relying on SGA. To me, that's just a much more probable run would be the Pelicans beating the Clippers and the Thunder than the Pacers beating the Cavs and the Bucks. That's, my take on this. It's based less on the teams and the roster than it is, how things could line up for them to make a run. All right, so let's check back in on our college games. And if anybody has any takes on our college games, we want to hear those. We're going to close out the night staying on our college games here because it looks like we're in for a barn burner. Tennessee is up 79-77 with 4.5 minutes to go. That's the game on my TV. And we'll check back on our NBA game and stay here. We're always on. We're on every night from 7 to 10. So we've got an hour coming, and this is my favorite hour. My dad always says, hey, I don't start watching basketball till the last 2 minutes of the game. That's when it gets really fun, and that's what we're heading right into with our games that started at 7. And then right after that, perfectly timing, the Pelicans game should be going into the fourth quarter. Jordan, what are you seeing in these college games?
Well, I'm seeing right now like Tennessee versus Auburn. And like I feel like Auburn is trying to show they can outshoot like Tennessee, in which I'm like, that's not how their game was going. Like how they ended up like, honestly getting the lead, especially in the beginning of the second half, was defense. And it's just I feel like they just stopped doing it, stopped doing defense, stopped going into their big man and doing an inside out thing. It's just like they just want to like the guards just want to boom boom and shoot.
I'm going to jump in just because there's a play under review here. I'd love to get you guys' take on this. What did you guys see in this play that's under a review here?
Oh, that's a block shot.
Yeah, I thought for sure that was a block shot. I don't know why this is taking so long.
Looks clean to me.
Hit him on the head.
Funny.
Well, they can't review for foul, right? They're just reviewing for goaltending, or what do they? How does this work in college? Did somebody challenge this, or I think they're just reviewing for goaltending, right? Let's see what they wind up calling. I don't have the tag. What did they call?
They gave Bruce Pearl a tag.
They gave the coach a tech for arguing that should have been a goaltending. Is that what he was arguing?
No, I think he was arguing it was a foul, but it wasn't a foul.
Oh, okay.
There was contact. He was hit right in the head.
That's ticky-tacky.
I was focusing on the block. I thought they were trying to say that was a goaltend. I couldn't tell exactly what he was saying. Oh, why are you trying to go behind the back there? Not the time to be getting fancy.
That's a terrible pass.
Yeah, just drop a little pocket bounce pass, right? So like Jordan was saying, Auburn's trying to outshoot them. I think that's an interesting take to keep an eye on. Tennessee has stormed back and has a 4-point lead now. So that's a 10-point swing in the last 5 minutes in this game.
Auburn is really trying to be too much flashy.
They're trying to be outflash. Yeah. David, what are you seeing in these college games?
Yeah, kind of what Jordan was saying. It's just both these teams live and die on the three. Bruce Pearl, he's been in the NCAA since I've been alive, and that's always been his team. Been his thing, even when he was at Tennessee. But Dalton Neck, man, he's dropped 35 tonight, and I just wanted to give a special shout out because there's somebody in here who said the name before the game got started. So whoever it was, give yourself a pat on the back because he's not messing around.
Yeah, 35 points. He just drove another one in there to put them up by 5 right now. On my TV is a little bit ahead of the game cast here. It's 82-77 is what I have. Alvin, what are you seeing in this game? Or any of the college games?
I'm saying what I thought before, that front court, if Auburn gets back to going inside the cones with the front court and stop trying to outshoot them from behind. They're currently outshooting Tennessee from behind the 3-point line, but they have less makes than Tennessee. And not only that, initially the game was somewhat even or in their edge for Auburn in rebounding, and all of a sudden they've let Tennessee out rebound them by allowing them to get too many offensive rebounds, which Neck is doing a great job of getting in the mix and scoring points from the guard position because he's taking them outside and inside, and Auburn does not know what to do with them. And like I said in the chat,
I'm gonna jump in here just because there's a controversial play here. I don't know what you guys saw in that. I thought he just threw the ball away out of bounds, but it looks like they might be calling a foul on Neck. I couldn't tell there was no clear signal from the official who has the ball right now. I don't know what you guys did. Anybody see anything on that last play? It was pretty quick. It was probably hard to see. It looked like he just let him with a bounce pass and it went out of bounds, right? That's what I saw. But it's weird. The official did not come up signaling right away. As an official, I look to the officials to see, what they're calling, right? If they're calling here, if they're coming up with a fist. Sometimes you can catch a guy where he starts with a fist and changes it to this, and it literally means he changed his mind, in mid-call, right? Because this is the signal for a foul, and this is the signal for a play. Sometimes you'll have two officials whistling as well and need to hold up. So I don't know what they called. I expect this to just be out of bounds, and Tennessee's ball coming back at him here. But my game's gone to a commercial on the TV. Tyler, what are you seeing in any of these games?
Just sticking to the Tennessee game. Dalton Necht he's playing his ass off right now. He definitely has the two-way game. He could shoot outside, and he's also taking it off the dribble. He's looking very, very confident, and especially later going into the tournament, you need that type of guy that is ready to take those big moments, ready to take those big shots. And from Auburn, I think they're straying away from their game right now, which is what, got them the lead in the first place. And I think they're getting a little tight. I saw a couple layups maybe that they could have missed. There was one, I think, a 5-foot floater that they also just missed off the rim. So I think it's getting a little tight. I think that Tennessee crowd is also really helping out the Vols right now.
Yeah, good points. I think they might be getting a little tired too. They just tried to put a half-court press on that last possession, and Tennessee torched them for a layup. I know in my playing days, granted it was only through high school, but anytime we had a pretty good team, and anytime we saw the press coming out, we loved that. We're like, oh, we're gonna get layups. I feel like a well-coached team always is practiced beating the press and knows how to get layups against the press the way Tennessee just did there. Our NBA game is back underway. The lead seems to be going between 6 and 10, exactly where we want it to be, because that means when we turn our full attention to this in the fourth quarter, we will, we'll likely have a close finish. If anybody's watching that and there's anything we need to talk about happening in that, if there's any injuries or big plays, please chime in. The ideal scenario would be we've got half of us watching the Pelicans game, half of us watching the Tennessee game, and we're also keeping an eye on these other college games that are happening right now. Here's the replay of this play I was talking about. Let's see what are they saying? The ref got taken out, so that's why there was no signal. The ref got taken out. He got run into on that play. I still don't see who they are giving the ball to. It's just got to be Tennessee's ball. Here comes the replay. There's no Tennessee player anywhere in the play. How are they giving that ball back to Auburn?
I guess because they're probably gonna say it's interference on the ref. But yeah, that's kind of crazy.
The ref is part of the game, is part of the court. What does anybody have anything on that? I do. How did that happen? Like, that to me is an atrocity. I don't have the volume on, so maybe I missed something.
After seeing that Pistons call a few nights ago, the refs can call anything they want these days.
Well, that's a bang call where the guy froze and missed the call. I mean, that's a human error in my opinion. But this is like what I do not get that at all. Did anybody feel free to chime in if I missed something or if they explained something, because I don't have the audio. I don't see how that was Auburn's ball, and now they just hit a big three to get back in the game. Jeez.
They were
I think because the ref was in the way of one of the guys trying to get the ball in. I think that's the reason why they gave it to Auburn, because you see a guy trying to go for the ball, but the referee's clearly in the way.
Bruce
with
Pearl
him
touched
trying
the
to
ball.
Back in bounds.
Hopefully he was in the way that much.
So what would be your call right there, Greg?
Well, for sure, it's not the ref being in the way. That's not the rule. There's no way these refs get that wrong at this level. If Bruce Pearl touched the ball, though, now that's a scenario where you've got interference and it could go to Auburn. So it's got to be something like that. But that's a big play. We'll be talking about that tomorrow in this game, especially if Auburn comes back to win. The ball's going out of bounds. Pearl would have to be reaching over the court and touch the ball for it to go that way. So now Tennessee, this point guard, we talked about him. He's a returning starter and needs to pass the ball here.
People are saying he's going to be the first college basketball player taken, which I was kind of surprised by. I didn't know he was that good.
On Tennessee?
Yeah, Dalton, the guy with 37.
Oh, next. Well, that's not player number 5 here. Just dribbled out the clock on this last possession. That's who I was talking about, Ziegler. Yeah, I don't know. It'd be interesting to see where Necht is projecting in the draft. Tyler's had his hand up for a while. What are you seeing in these college games, Tyler?
I know I actually had one. If it's the Pelicans game right now.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so like one of my takes earlier was that they're coming off the back-to-back, and Zion was already questionable at the Knicks game, and I'm looking at his numbers right now. He's 4 for 13, I believe. It's only 2 rebounds. Kind of looks like he's like disengaged, and this is kind of like what I'm talking about. He has all the potential in the world, but he kind of just seems like he just loses it sometimes. So this is just something that I anticipated for tonight, and they look tired tonight, honestly. And I know. I forgot who made the point earlier. Yeah, like these guys are young. They should be able to. But ultimately, a lot of these guys take nights off. I don't agree with it. But, I think that's just like the sad reality of the NBA, unfortunately.
Yeah, I mean, there's no reason for the NBA to still have back-to-backs. Like they should be able to fix the schedule to not have that. I don't know why they're still doing that. Let's hop in on the draft projections here. Will got me curious where Necht is being projected. And of course, there's lots of different people that project these things. By the way, this is one of the reasons I'm not so excited about Wemby. Is like there's like 3 more Wembys coming out next year, right? These are the top guys projected. I'm hoping this isn't what the
There's
league.
nobody 7'5" coming out of the draft next year like Wemby.
Bunch of more French guys are coming in. A Serbian guy.
I've never heard of that Colorado
where Necht is here. So here's a shooting guard at UConn. Think he's a one and done. Kentucky, Baylor, Kansas, Kentucky. Here's Necht. Right? Is this
yeah, who was the Colorado guy? I've never heard of him.
He's ranked
Cody Williams.
12. Yeah, he's a one and done, right? The kid at Colorado. Yeah, it'll be interesting.
I think the only one I know like that's like international is that guy from Red Star. He's actually legit from Red Star. He's actually a legit player.
We'll do kind of a draft breakdown in one of our episodes coming up. Let's focus in on this Auburn-Tennessee game. It's 86-80 right now. Tennessee has the lead. Let me get it back up on the screen. So if you're following along at home, if you're watching us on YouTube, we're in for an exciting finish here. We'd love to hear from you who your take is. If you're watching this on the replay, get ready. I'm predicting we're going to have a down-to-the-wire buzzer beater and some fun fan reactions here. What we'll do as the game gets into the last 30 seconds, we'll all kind of unmic, and that way we can get some live reactions to this. Let's keep it fun. Let's focus in on this game right now and save the Pelicans takes until that this finishes. And let's go around the horn with anybody who's got something to add here. Go ahead, Dexter.
I just think that Bruce Pearl just needs to get control of his team. They're playing just really sloppy right now, and I think instead of just trying to like play their basketball, they're trying to match Tennessee way too much.
Yeah, we've heard that, and that's coaching, right? I mean, that's coaching. He's got to rein him in. So let's see what Tennessee can do here. They're running the offense this time. That last possession, they just kind of dribbled around, clear out for Necht, and he drives right in for a finger roll at the rim. Yeah, he looks tough to guard. I don't know where the help defense was on that possession. Auburn's got to go inside, right? That's their big guy. He's got to look to score down there, not kick it out. Maybe they're trying to get a 3 at this point. It's a little desperate to just go all through. Oh, you fouled him on the 3. Right? Didn't we have a whistle? I swear I saw the ref put
They didn't call the foul.
Wow. I guess he was signaling three. You got to give him that in that situation, in my opinion. You know, that keeps them in the game. All right. So they're trying to double team Neck. Last time they tried that, Tennessee got a layup. Let's see what Neck can do out top here. Putting it on the floor. Oh, jacked up a three. Oh my God. Offensive rebounds.
They
Wow.
can shoot threes, something I've seen with Tennessee.
Well, that was a brick, but
they have a lot of 3-point shooters on this team, which is scary for sure.
You just can't give up an offensive rebound like that. Let's see, what do we got here? Out of bounds. He was looking for a foul, and he's crying to the refs. Yeah, I don't know what Neck was doing. Was the shot clock winding down? Why did he jack up that bad three? Was he looking for a foul? Here it is again on the replay.
There's a heat check.
I think you saw him reaching in. He tried to create the contact.
Yeah, there was some contact.
Yeah.
He could have got a call there. Come on, this guy's got to score. He's their dominant big guy. He's passing too much. We used to have a center on my high school team, and the joke was he was a 6'5" center, but he dominated this league I played in. But the joke was like, whoever taught that pass ruined him. Yeah, he could have been really good if he stopped passing. When you're big and you get it inside there, you got to score the ball.
Yeah,
Especially if you're one-on-one, like you have to score. If you're a dominant person, big man, one-on-one, you got somebody one-on-one around the basket, the only thing you could do is a drop step. Like you have to finish.
Yeah, he's catching the ball deep in the paint and looks like he doesn't know what to do with it. Yeah, I mean, he doesn't look that skilled at all. Maybe he's just living off his height and athleticism and getting putbacks. That did not look good at all for Auburn. Let's see if they can do something here. This is one of those games where if you weren't watching it, I would come away like impressed. If I was just watching the score or saw the final score, I'm like, oh, Auburn hung with them on the road. That's good, you know. But as we're watching the end of this, I've been not impressed with Auburn at all at the end of this. This is like the advantage we're going to have in evaluating this team. Unless they do something here, they still could surprise me.
Yeah, that's always been Bruce Pearl's teams. It's always some sort of frenzy going on. They really take on the personality of their coach very, when they're hot, they're hot. When they're cold, you don't want to be watching that game because it's so bad.
Did they get a turnover there?
Have you guys seen any
this guy Vescovi, I remember him from last year too. Like this whole team that knocked off Duke last year. Like all these guys look like they're back. What'd they make last year? The Final 8 or the Sweet 16 at least, for sure.
Have you guys seen any big men for Tennessee? I'm trying to figure out. They look kind of small.
No, they don't have a big front line, so there's no excuse. Auburn's just gotten away.
Oof, they got the ball back.
Yeah, Neck looks like a big guy. That's the thing I like about the Pelicans too. Just we were talking about big men scoring, like Ingram and Zion, like dunk and shoot layups and score inside. I hate seeing these NBA guys like they have an open layup and they kick it out for three.
Auburn lost to Houston last year in the second round.
Yeah, Tennessee is who did Tennessee wind up losing to?
Tennessee. Last year was crazy. There were a bunch of randos.
Yeah, there always is.
I know.
All right, the Auburn big guys got the ball now. I got 30 seconds left in my game here. 27, deep three for Auburn. Not a good shot. Might have been tipped. And now nobody's fouling. Like they don't know what to do at the end of the game here. I guess you're down 8, but you don't give up like that.
Yeah, that's it.
But that's the problem with Auburn. They do not have a guy. Like they don't have a guy to be like, boom, I'm going to sit there and score the ball and like get a bucket.
Dalton wasn't on their team last year. Interesting. Thought he was on a different team. He wasn't on Tennessee.
Yeah, it looked like Dalton Neck was just the best player on the court, and he just took over the game. I think that was the big difference down the stretch.
Do you guys know where he played last year?
Pop him into Wikipedia, and and look it up for us.
Crazy.
You must be a transfer portal guy. Well, that was a good finish. I would have liked to see Auburn close it. Let's just check in on our other games. Oklahoma's hanging in there with Iowa State. They're on.
It's been an awful game in Ames. They are in a rock fight. Iowa State shooting 24%, Oklahoma shooting 28%. It's been a defensive struggle. Not really an enjoyable watch, if we're being completely honest.
Wow. What channel is that game on? Let me see if I can find it here on my
ESPN Plus or the Big 12 network.
Gotcha. Okay. I got to scroll around, see if I can find those. I'm like one of the last people still paying $200 a month for regular cable here, and I don't even have half these channels. Creighton game is underway. They're ranked. Illinois is ranked. Let's see. This Ole Miss Alabama game is intriguing, and then Arizona tonight. Let's check in on our Pelicans game and just see where we're at here. It's almost the fourth quarter. Pacers have opened up a 13-point lead. Jordan, what do you got?
I just wanted to say real quick, especially like women's college basketball is going on. Number 3, Texas got upset by Oklahoma. I think it's like number 20 Oklahoma with a last second shot. 71-70.
Like Texas being number 3, that clinches the Big 12 regular season for Oklahoma.
Mm-hmm.
What happened in
the
Connecticut?
Big 12, you know, who's usually the dominant women's team in the Big 12? Is there one? Like you don't hear about
It's always Texas. It's always Texas and Baylor. They're always like
Baylor, I thought.
top teams.
Yeah, Baylor, you're right. I remember, obviously the Brittany Griner days. That was a while ago now, though.
Yeah, Kim Mulkey leaving has definitely changed that program.
Let's not sleep on the women Mountaineers. I'm pretty sure they had a pretty good run in the Big 12 this year.
They're just like middle of the pack, but I would say like they're not somebody you should should not be slouching on. But it's definitely always it's always Texas and always like Baylor. I actually like the new coach of Baylor. I feel like she used to coach for like the Atlanta Dream in the WNBA, and she's actually trying to bring Baylor back into the women's college landscape. It's just she need the girls to go there. She need the girls.
I never see Ohio State as number 2. And they always have a decent team. But what's wrong with Connecticut? They used to always be really good. Like they had that Paige Bucket person. Yeah.
8 threes.
They not getting the girls. They're not getting the girls to come in there. They're refusing to go to Connecticut. And then also, like, especially this year, a lot of girls at Connecticut actually has been getting hurt. Like, I'm very surprised that Paige Buckers hasn't got hurt, but like a lot of other girls are like getting hurt all the time.
Yeah, I mean, I wonder if Gino, the coach at UConn, has kind of had his day, right? And the girls don't want to play for him anymore. Maybe they want to play for a female coach these days.
It's the NIL. Now the girls go where they want. They're gonna get paid regardless. Gino used to be in control of the bag. Now the NIL's in control of the bag, and girls go where they want now, just like in college football.
Yeah, good point. Good point. Jordan, what do you think Iowa needs to do to win the national title? Is that within reach?
The issue is, I think like I feel like Iowa's not going to win the national championship, but I really don't think so. I really think it's South Carolina's. Like South Carolina or bust, to be honest. South Carolina got the best team. The thing is with Iowa is that Caitlin Clark, like she just need to play the game. She can't showboat. Don't showboat. Don't try to sit there try to please the crowd of just like shooting crazy shots and doing crazy things. I'm just like, just play your game, play basketball, and then also the Iowa coach. She need to coach. Like, don't feed off of Caitlin. Coach the game. Coach your team. Don't try to feed off of Caitlin Clark.
They could have won it last year.
Their athleticism hasn't been up to par. Caitlin's a great player, but when it comes down to the last 4 teams, you got to have some athletes and some dogs out there, and they always get outgunned with athleticism.
they had a chance last year, and it was really annoying because Caitlin Clark had like 3 fouls in the first half, and it just like
Yeah.
ruined the national championship. She like
Yeah,
couldn't
but the
play.
issue, I feel like Iowa always used to have like really good big girls at Iowa. They will always have really good big girls at Iowa, but it's like for the past couple years, they really did not have a dominant big girl to run with Caitlin.
Where's LSU? They won it last year. They're 7. I think Iowa should have beaten them last year, but Caitlin Clark was in foul trouble the whole game, which literally ruined it. It was so annoying.
Yeah, Caitlin
Yeah,
Clark.
in South Carolina, they always seem to be undefeated, right? I mean, it's always a 50-50 chance that they could win it all. They seem to be the consensus number one again this year.
They don't shoot the ball well though. That's why they got beat last year. They was a interior team and they don't shoot the ball well. LSU shot the ball better. And talking about Caitlin, last year she got in foul trouble because she had to guard somebody. Normally she's just that girl.
I
She
guess
had to play
so.
defense last year.
It's just hard to do, in a big game like that. I don't know though, but you got to call them if they're real fouls.
Yeah, we're getting a little background noise here. I'll just make sure there's no TV on or anything or mute it when you want to give your takes here. But yeah, always good to check in on the women's game. I went to a Division II college, Bentley College in Boston. It's a business school, and their women's program is always a contender. Their coach is in the Hall of Fame, Barbara Stevens for Division II, winning its women's coach, winning its all-time coach. And I was the team manager, so I was around women's basketball a lot. It was a lot of fun, actually. Like I would practice against their post players as a 6-foot guy, and they would dominate. Yeah, I'm a fan of the women's game. I like to see it on the rise. I think I'll be rooting for Caitlin Clark. It'd be a great story for her to carry her team to the championship. Kind of reminds me of, Larry Bird in Indiana State, who, by the way, I saw was ranked. The men's Indiana State team was ranked earlier this year. They're on a lot of people's sleeper picks. But our NBA game is heading into the fourth quarter now. Let's focus in on this. It looks like it's been Zion and Ingram carrying the load. McCollum has 14 as well. Valanciunas is an offer. He's only had 7 minutes. Maybe has foul trouble. I'm not sure what's going on with him. Trey Murphy is leading off the bench. It's been interesting to see more of him and hear you guys talk about him here today. I noticed they have Larry Nance too. I used to like him back in his Laker day. I don't know. He's not getting many minutes. Let's check in on the box score here for the Pacers. Haliburton with 10 points and 9 assists. Yeah, so it looks like he's maybe hanging back, trying to be more of a playmaker, trying to get Siakam going. Siakam's got a double-double, which is nice to see. And Haliburton can shoot though, right? We saw that in the All-Star game. I mean, that guy was shooting, and they're going to need him to shoot, to run and gun, not just facilitate if they're going to win. This game is over on ESPN, and the fourth quarter is underway now. We got some hands up for takes on this. Let's start with Cameron.
Yeah, I just wanted to say about Haliburton real quick. I mean, shooters shoot the ball, right? You live by the 3, you die by the 3. I mean, Klay Thompson, the Splash Brothers live by the same memo. Not every night you're going to see Curry, Klay, Dame, Trey, all these shooters out there knock the ball down at a 60% clip like we want to see them do when they get hot. Sometimes they're just not spilling. But I honestly expected the Pacers to win tonight, coming off the Pelicans back-to-back. Someone said it right earlier. They just look tired. Zion is getting to his spots. No one on this team can guard him. He's getting there, but he's just missing everything he puts up. They're getting good looks. It's just they're missing everything. And I wanted to point one thing out earlier too. It was said that the Pacers aren't proven to beat the Bucks or the Celtics. Well, I just want to know. I want to ask the chat a quick question. Does the in-season tournament mean anything in the NBA? Because I know the Nuggets didn't make it, right? Nuggets are clearly one of the best teams, But when the in-season tournament started, everyone had the Bucks and Celtics running out the East. No one saw the Pacers sneaking in there, and they went ahead and upset the Bucks and the Celtics. Same thing with these Pelicans too. Pelicans snuck right into the in-season tournament and went into the semifinals against the Lakers. So I just want to get the chat's opinion on the in-season tournament.
Yeah, good topic there. I think people forget the Pelicans made that run. People tend to talk about Indy's run because they made it, a little further than the Pelicans. But the Pelicans had a nice run in the in-season tournament as well. So let's get our chat going on here. Our college coverage is coming winding down now. Let's move over to this chat for the Pelicans game. I'll drop the link here in case it's getting confusing for anybody. But let's get everyone in here and just kind of give your take on the in-season tournament. As far as takes in the Zoom, let's keep those focused on the game we're watching. I do want to point out that the Pacers beat the Celtics. Porzingis didn't play, and Buddy Hield killed us. And if Porzingis doesn't play, we're vulnerable to lose to anyone in the Eastern Conference playoffs. Al Horford is too old to be leading a championship drive. And that's a big if. Porzingis is always hurt. So that's our biggest vulnerability, I feel like. Also, just my take on this, Haliburton's not having a great game, but they're winning. That says a lot to me about this Indiana team. Jeremiah, what are you seeing in this game?
You see an enjoyable game. One thing I really like, I like the multiple courts all the NBA teams are using, changing out the courts throughout the season. I like this court that the Pacers are playing on. But I wanted to talk a little bit about the load management topic we were talking on earlier, get everyone's thoughts. I was looking up from when I was a kid in the 90s. Everyone played all 82 games. I actually Googled this, and the site that would give me the information wanted money. But after 25 names of 82 games played is all I could see for every year in the 90s. In the last 6 years, 3 of the years, not one person has played 82 games. And the most is 5 players in 1 year in the last 6 years. I just think it's ridiculous that no one's playing like they used to.
Yeah, I mean, that's a sign of times of change. And it's another good topic for the YouTube chat. We'd love to get you guys' take on why that is, if it's justified, if it's just keeping up with the Joneses, if it's LeBron that started a lot of this. Like, I love to pile on LeBron. To me, he's the one that ruined the slam dunk contest. Kobe and everybody was going in before then, and LeBron made it not cool. So I'd love to get your response to that. Let's keep our takes on Zoom. Oh, nice block there. And they're going to get a dunk out of that. And Indy's opening it up by 12 right now with 9 minutes to go. Still plenty of time for New Orleans to make a run, but that was a really nice play there by Toppin, who I hadn't seen much from him yet this game. Alvin, what are you seeing in this Pacers-Pelicans game?
I'm saying a Pelicans team that let a big mountain, made a huge mountain in the first quarter, just doing a lot of chasing for the rest of the game. They've gotten as close as 6. It just keeps going back and forth between 8 and 6, all the way back to 10. And the biggest thing I'm seeing is, just like I said, that X pick, Troy Murphy, he's 2 for 8 from the 3-point line. BI is 1 for 3 behind the 3-point line. They're shooting threes and not making them. Zion waited too late to wake up, and now they're chasing toward the end to try to make it a game. And at the end of the game, it's going to look pretty. But if you don't get the dub, what is it? I'm just kind of frustrated with this lack of playing well with these back-to-backs.
Yeah, and Zion's on the bench now to start the fourth quarter for the first 3 minutes. To me, this will be really telling as to what the conditioning of Zion is right now. Let's see how long it takes. He should be coming back in after this commercial break, or maybe we'll give him 1 more minute. But if he stays out longer than that, that's a sign to me he's still not in peak condition, that this back-to-back is taking its toll on him, and that a lot of our analysis has been right on. If he comes back in any later than after the 8-minute mark, they're off their rotation, in my opinion. Will, what are you seeing in this game?
When I graduated college, I lived in Dayton, Ohio, and I actually went to a bunch of Dayton games when Toppin was like amazing. So it's cool to see him doing well. He's got 16 points, it looks like, and I've seen a lot from him. It looks like he can be a pretty solid, looks like he could be a pretty solid kind of third or fourth option, and he's always had a decent career. He's averaged double digits every year, so he's got some potential. So it's just cool to
Yeah.
see him doing well.
Well, he's the sixth man now. He's great as a sixth man. He's a high energy guy. He blocks shots. That's just a really nice role for him on the Pacers. Tyler, what are you seeing in this game?
Yeah, just to go back to the point about Halliburton, he's the type of player. I think it feeds off him getting other people baskets. You know what I mean? He's looking to set up. He's okay not scoring the ball, but I think when it comes down to it, if it was a close game, I think you would see that aggressiveness from him. But I think he's just overall, quintessential point guard and just wants to get everybody involved. And like you said, if they're winning, that's really the ultimate goal is to get the win. So I don't really have a problem with him only scoring 10 points because he's almost as double. He might have it by now, double digit assists. So
Who's the bucket guy then, Tyler? If it's not, who's the Pacers bucket guy?
I mean, ultimately you could go with Pascal. I think Pascal is. I mean, he's a 22 point a game scorer also. So I think you could go to him. But Halliburton, believe me, he's got a deep bag. He can score if he needs to, but he really just wants to get his other guys involved.
Yeah. I mean, it's clearly his team. He led them in the play-in tournament and, was in the MVP talks earlier this year. When it comes to the last shot at the end of the game, I think by far Halliburton is taking it. And, a great player gets everyone involved. That's how you get people playing defense by getting them involved. So he seems to be doing a good job of that. In the Toronto game on Monday, he was shooting and missing, and they lost that game. I thought that was a really bad loss for them at home to Toronto. So I was looking to see him rebound tonight and play better. And still kind of a mixed bag in the stat line here, but at least they look like they're going to get a win. Andrew, what are you seeing in this game?
I just wanted to follow up on what Tyler was talking about there. I just don't see Siakam being the guy at the end of the game that you're turning to for a bucket. As a Sixers fan, I hate that we throw the ball in the post to a big guy to try and get you a bucket at the end of the game. You need a guard to be that guy because the defense is just so easy for them to collapse around a big like Siakam or Embiid in those situations. So like what you were saying, Greg, it's got to be Haliburton. There's no two ways about it because the defense dictates that. And we see that with more skilled, more offensive big men, and the guards are still the ones that are taking those shots.
Yeah. Just if I could jump in real quick. Yeah, just to clarify, I think when it comes down to the end of the game, I just want to be clear about that. I think Haliburton is the guy to do it. I'm just saying for the majority of the game, to put themselves in a good position to win the game, he is okay with setting up his teammates. But I think ultimately he will be taking the last shot. But having Pascal as your second guy, I mean, yeah, I think he's better suited to be a third option. I completely agree with you on that aspect. But that's also why I don't think they're going to be able to make that deep run because I don't think he can be your number two.
Haliburton might be a really good number. It might be a really good number two if he could get a great number one.
Yeah, I think Haliburton's going to be the guy to take that last shot, but having Pascal definitely take some pressure off him as well. That's all I was saying.
Oh my gosh, they're letting TJ McConnell kill him at the end here. I hate that guy. He used to be on the Sixers and give me nightmares on the Celtics.
Love TJ McConnell. He has no business being in the league. He has nowhere near the talent that other NBA point guards have. It's just all hustle, all headiness. It's been fun. That's another guy. Played Duquesne, Arizona. Fun guy to watch his whole career, unless you're a Celtics fan and you've been on the receiving end of a TJ McConnell hustle bucket.
He's been haunting me. He's my number two after PJ Tucker. Both of which are guys I would love if they were Celtics, right? But going against those guys, I'm like, I hate these guys. They're always making
big heart guys.
Yeah, but I feel like PJ Tucker, you look at his game, like he's an elite perimeter defender. There is nothing at all that TJ McConnell does at an elite level other than hustle.
Yeah, I remember the Sixers, they were playing McConnell over Ben Simmons against us at the end of that playoff series. And I was like, I didn't want to see McConnell. Oh my gosh. I'm like, bring in
You
Simmons.
can't teach heart.
Zion for 3, keeping him in it. Like to see that. We got a 6-point game.
So let's see if Halliburton's gonna be aggressive now.
Big beef. They didn't bring him in until under the 7-minute mark. So in my opinion, that's a little bit later than he normally should be. But at least if he's fresh, what can he do? Somebody box out TJ McConnell. Or like he's out of the game.
Yeah, it's encouraging seeing this.
On defense.
This arena's crowded. People like these games, I guess.
Clear out, McConnell. Clear out. Get out of there, or CJ. I don't like that shot by Zion. Spinning fade away. Bring it in for a layup, man.
Yeah, go straight to the rim. You're that big for a reason. Yeah, big shot.
Terrible
Big shot, Halliburton.
Terrible defense by Zion there. He just went under the pick on like inside the free throw lane. That's just awful. What are you doing, Zion?
Yeah, those were two really bad.
What is he doing?
Those were two possessions back to back that were not good. Like you said, not going into contact there and fading away with his size against Siakam. It's kind of crazy. And then, boy, you got to do something to hedge the pick.
He must be tired. He doesn't play like that. I mean,
It's fatigue. It's mental fatigue.
Do people ever talk about his size? He like can't be more than like 6'5", 6'6" right? He's not that big of a guy. Like tall.
Height wise, no, which worries me too, because he only averages like, I mean, I know he's shorter, but he's huge. I think he should be getting more than the rebounds that he does also.
He's
I think
kind of like Bam. Bam isn't that tall either, is he?
I think he's taller than him. I think he's like 6'8", maybe 6'8", 6'9".
They're both
Zion's
really
shorter than him.
centers.
Yeah, he only has 3
I think like the problem with like Zion right now is like I know everybody sit here and comment on his side and like yes, I feel like his size and positioning definitely needs work on him. But I feel like additional team, somebody like Zion or somebody like would you look at Shaq or even like Charles Barkley, is that like they had that mental fortitude and be like, yo, I'm going to get the ball. I'm going to do what I gotta do.
Though.
Like I'm going to jump on the head and everything. But like Zion, he's just like, yeah.
Yeah, if we look at Zion's,
like he don't want to be there.
If we look at his career stats here, right, he is having his career low in scoring. So he's having his career high in passing. They're playing him at the point sum, and career low in rebounding. And that rebounding number is really troubling. He should be getting 7 to 10 rebounds, even though he's undersized. The guy's a beast down in there. That's where you would expect him to dominate. So
was that a problem for him like in the draft, or did people not even care?
I mean, he was the number 1 pick.
I know. I didn't know if people were like he's only 6'6", because that is not. Yeah, that's short.
Well, he coming out of Duke, he was being compared to Barkley, who would lead the league in rebounding at 6'6". He's got that kind of build to him.
Yeah.
You gotta remember, he's not setting the precedent. Larry Johnson, grandmama was only 6'7", the same size, athleticism. He could do all that. But this is not the first time we've seen. Zion is more than strong enough to outroot. There's no everybody in the league knows he's left-handed, and he still gets to the left hand.
Yeah, but he really doesn't want to be there. He doesn't want to be there.
Zion is more of a perimeter player than Barkley and Larry Johnson. Those guys played with their back to the basket. He's never played with his back to the basket. He's always more of an ISO guy, dribble drive, try to go over the top, just be more athletic. So, Grandmama and Charles Barkley, those dudes were true power forwards. Zion isn't.
Yeah, I think LJ is a good comparison, but LJ also was a 4-year college player, right? He had a lot more experience coming into the league than Zion. He's still so young. Jordan, you think Zion, when you say Zion doesn't want to be there, you say he doesn't love the game or he doesn't love playing for the Pelicans?
He doesn't love New Orleans.
Oh, no, he don't want to be in New Orleans. I don't think he doesn't love the game. I think he just don't want to be in New Orleans. And like I think especially I don't think New Orleans like gave him a contract extension either. So I really don't think he don't want to stay in New Orleans. Like, I don't think they're going to end up winning anything in New Orleans. I feel like he wants to leave. And you saw it like even before the draft. He wanted the Knicks to be the first pick. And he was like, ugh, I gotta go to New
I
Orleans
think
now.
all of
why
us,
he
right?
played so
Everybody
well
wanted
last
him to
night.
go to New York. Everybody
Yeah,
wanted
I
him to go
think
to. And imagine
you
if he
know,
does. Imagine if they they probably would lose Randall, right? So they'd have Zion and Brunson. I think that would be must-see TV. The two of them.
the truth
Andrew's
hurts.
got something.
The
What
truth
you got,
hurts,
Andrew?
guys. The truth hurts, and at the end of the day, Zion is overweight. At the end, regardless where he plays, he's overweight. So, I mean, I think New York got a bunch of cheeseburger stands too.
They got them sausage vendors out.
But you know,
outside the cottage.
Tom Thibodeau would not play that. Not Tom Thibodeau would not play that. They'd be like, you get into the gym.
did give him a contract extension. The reason why he doesn't want to be there is because there was a weight clause in the contract extension, and that made headlines in the offseason. Well, why do you think it's an issue? Because your team's mad that you're fat and you don't play a lot of games and you don't play a lot of minutes. So the Pelicans have every right to be mad at Zion, and I guess if Zion wants his feelings hurt because he's upset about a clause in his contract, then I guess let his feelings get hurt.
Well,
they have to sign him.
I actually think being here, I actually think that Zion tried to pull a Harden with the weight gain, but what hurt him was when BI started to shine without him, and we made our run without him. That's what hurt him. And when
Zion out of the game
signed him, they put that weight clauses in.
I don't see him on the floor.
Yeah, it looks like
he's on the bench. He's on the bench with Valanciunas, who gave us 0 points tonight.
Back to back,
What
back to
the
back.
heck? He only came back in for a minute.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah,
He came under 7-minute mark, and he's out before the 5-minute mark.
And it's a
I'm saving him for the stretch run.
These three, there's too many shooters, man. They got Ingram, they got McCollum, they got Zion. It's only there's only one ball.
6-point game.
Hopefully Troy can knock one down. Oh, you got doggone through the
Well, I understand what you're saying. There's only one ball, but there's only one guy that you pay $200+ million to, and he's going to be on the court in the fourth quarter in crunch time.
I wonder if he wants to.
This was a bang out of bounds play here that went to Indy. Could have went either way. It looked like. I don't know about that. I mean, Ingram and McCollum got to just run a pick and roll. I don't know why they're clearing out. Oh my gosh, Siakam just roasted him.
Great.
I just wanted to point out in this Kings and Nuggets game over here, the Kings are playing a really good game without De'Aaron Fox. And I just learned that this is the first time in NBA history that two teams with opposing players are heading into the matchup with 3 straight triple doubles. So Sabonis and Jokic. Another cool thing is Sabonis, man, I think he might be one of the more underrated players in the league. I did not know that he was 4th in the league in assists. That means the top 5 guys in assists, 2 of them are big guys, Jokic and Sabonis.
Yeah, I don't think
Sabonis is so underrated.
They have a really
I don't think he's underrated. I think he's a household name for fans. I mean, he didn't make the All-Star game because the team's not doing so good. We had a bad turnover here by Indies, giving New Orleans some life here. They're down 5. Zion's still not back in.
It's one of the rare trades where it really worked out for both teams. The Pacers getting Haliburton and then Sabonis going to the Kings. Like, perfect fit for what both teams needed. And we saw the Kings last year making a run. Maybe this will be the year that the Pacers make a little run.
People thought the Kings had a chance last year. They were
let's focus in on this game we're watching now. It's a 3-point game. Zion's on the bench. Oh,
big step back.
3-pointer there from Haliburton.
Oh, this guy can score, man. If he wants to, he could score.
Why doesn't New Orleans run a pick and roll? They run clear outs for Ingram and McCollum. What do they? It seems like that'd be the perfect pick and roll combo, a big and a small.
Yeah, it's what Philly used to do back in the day when they had Ben Simmons. You know, it was hard to stop Simmons and Embiid cutting to the board
McCollum
like
just
that.
goes 1-on-1.
Because we're a copy
I
of
would
the
like to see
Warriors
the Pelicans.
program. The Warriors don't run that many pick and rolls.
Do you guys have 3 minutes left? I think I might be behind.
Yeah, I have 2:29 on the
Okay.
TV.
Let me
But
see.
why is Zion Williams not rolling hard to the basket? He's literally
Not
just
in the game.
walking to the basket.
Yeah, he was kind of waddling. Yeah, I saw that too, Jordan. That was that was pretty bad.
Yeah, this game cast is behind quite a bit. How did it get so far behind?
Yeah, I'm gonna try to get it on my phone. See if
I
it's
just
any better.
refreshed it. It was interesting that some nights the game cast is ahead of me, and tonight it's pretty far behind. I got 2:29, 5-point
Yeah.
game. Jones is on the line.
It's better on my phone.
Be
And
a
my
bad loss
computer,
for the
4-point
Pacers.
game. I mean, this is coming right down the wire here. It could go either way.
They've been winning the whole game. That would suck to lose your lead in the final seconds of this game.
Oof,
No, it wouldn't suck. It would be wonderful.
One thing that is a little crazy is we're giving Zion a hard time about his minutes. BI's played less minutes. He's only played 26 minutes in this game.
Oh, nice pass there.
That's a crazy pass.
Yeah, he's injury prone too.
Wow, was that Siakam with the finish? That was a nice play.
They just want to survive to the playoffs, I think.
Oh, yeah, that was a nice pass.
Clear out for Zion. Oh, he gets blocked. Flush it. My gosh, what are you doing? Finger rolling.
All right, I'm at 2 minutes on my phone.
Yeah, this part of the game you gotta run it through McCollum and BI.
You're
Zion
not flushing it.
closer.
Yeah, you're ahead of me.
Such a soft take from Zion. Like you said, Greg, go up and try and dunk that, put somebody on a poster, or go to the line and shoot too.
That's
Now
what
he's
Miles
getting
Turner does. That's what
Yeah,
Miles Turner brings to
True.
the Pacers.
They
Game
switch.
is over.
Zion gets switched on to Haliburton and he roasts him.
Yep.
I think it's
Siakam
really
is the
good.
easy
Like they're
pass.
actually
Oh my
involving
gosh!
This
a
game,
Nobody
Siakam
this
gets
more.
game's
back.
done. This game's done.
Nobody gets back on D. Come on.
Game over, man. I'll be glad to throw this East Coast swing in the garbage.
Wow. What a letdown, man.
Tyler's
First of all,
halftime take was right. Take Haliburton over Zion.
Rock'em, sock'em, Siakam.
They needed a timeout
got
at
the
some
final
point
6
in there.
points
They
right
just
there.
let it slip away.
Now, hold on now. It isn't like this was in New Orleans. This is in Indiana.
Yeah, off of back-to-back.
No, yeah, off of back to back. I kind of expected this, but Haliburton, he did make every big play. He made a couple big
From the
shots,
stretch.
great assists. So he did exactly what he was supposed to do.
The other
Yeah,
big
they-
thing I haven't heard anybody talk about
Valanciunas, who has no rebounds, only got 3 rebounds and 0 points, gave us nothing tonight.
What you got, David?
The other big thing that I haven't heard anybody talk about tonight is Alvarado with his suspension. I think BI and Zion, McCollum, those are the guys that you run your team through. But your general, the guy that's rallying the troops, that's making sure that, hey, we're gonna go knock somebody in the mouth. That's Alvarado, and I think he's the heart and soul of the team. So without him, I think that's why they're down 10. Because I honestly, had he played that 4-point spread, that would have been the lock of the night.
Because he's their big man, right?
No,
No, he's their point guard.
little
Man,
man.
get to the basket early in the
He's their
game.
big man.
Haliburton wouldn't have been so free to try to dribble and catch and shoot.
Alvarado's very Patrick Beverly-esque. Not necessarily going to show up on the stat sheet, but a guy that's going to hold everybody accountable. And like David said, energy, energy, energy. If
But
you
I
listen
feel
to
like
that
the problem, like the Pelicans, especially right now, it's just like the Pelicans, and this is the problem I have with like BI and Zion. It's just their mentality is not. Their mentality is just like, I'm just going to go out and just play basketball and have fun. Their mentality is really not like, I am going to go and get this win and get this dub. And I feel like this is the reason why, like, when they get into playoffs, they fall short. But I got to get myself going. It is like 4:00 in the morning over here.
Who is their
I'll see
who's
y'all
their
later.
center?
Good
Like,
night.
who do the- yeah, who do the-
That's why I
Great
say
seeing you again.
Jimmy Butler and let CJ go to Miami, and we would have the toughness we need.
who do the Pelicans play at center?
Valanciunas. But
He
why
played-
in the world would the
he
Heat
played-
have any interest in doing that trade and getting CJ McCollum? Like, I know there's been a little bit of rumbling about Jimmy being upset, but that's a huge downgrade.
He played 5 minutes
That's
tonight.
Nah, the
fantasy.
the Heat have won 5 in a row. They're trending upward. I don't see that as a
Well, the trade deadline's passed anyway, but I'm just saying in
yes.
general, what interest would the Heat have in moving Jimmy Butler for CJ McCollum? Like CJ McCollum's a nice
No, I'm
piece,
just,
but Jimmy Butler is the guy.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah,
see
no,
that at all.
playoff Jimmy
I'm speaking to
shows up.
Jordan's saying that we need that toughness. If we were to be able to swap them in a vacuum, Jimmy Butler would be the type of mindset veteran that would get us where we need to be.
Also, scoreboard alert. They're just going into the fourth quarter, a few minutes into the fourth quarter, but it's 91-89 Minnesota Memphis. So Memphis and everything they've got.
Yeah, Minnesota they were down 10 in that game, and I thought Memphis was going to give them a little upset, and next I checked the score, it was tied up. So maybe the Timberwolves.
We got some
are
good
starting to
games
buckle down a
around the
little.
league. If you got the league pass, I'm not sure what's coming on next here tonight. We'll need to look
Lakers
at
and Clippers. Battle of Los
for
Angeles.
LA. They'll be
Yep.
rolling out those new branded uniforms. The Mavs won earlier tonight. Yeah, this is a bonus Nuggets matchup. Would be fun to watch. The Grizzlies, I don't know how they're hanging around with all their injuries. They're doing a great coaching job there. Let's just close out with checking our men's college sports scoreboard. Iowa State doesn't seem like 3 minutes left to go. Oklahoma.
This is trying to pull off the upset. They were up like 15 earlier on Bama. They're giving them everything they've got. Bama's storming back, so that'll be a fun one to watch at the end.
Yeah, let's see if that's on somewhere. ESPN2's got that. It says I'll probably tune into that right now to see if Ole Miss and Alabama can turn out. This game intrigues me. Arizona State, Bobby Hurley, one of my favorite players, is coaching them. Illinois is ranked. Minnesota's hanging in there. Carolina seems to have that game in hand. A lot of good games tonight. A lot of teams holding serve that are expected to win or winning. Always fun to get to see Zion, even though it wasn't him at his best. I still hold out high hopes for him. There's still entertainment value every time he's out there. So great night tonight. Appreciate everyone's contributions. Go ahead and just sign off in the chat with kind of what you like best about tonight. Would love to just get everyone's feedback and take on everything. And so just put in the chat what you liked best about tonight in the YouTube chat there before we close this down for the night. And if you're here for the audition, which I know some of you are, shoot me a text with your full name, just so, even if you've done it before, just so I for sure kind of have an attendance roster of who was here till the very end. So tomorrow night is a light college schedule, so we'll be focused on the NBA. Let me check my notes here. What do we got tomorrow night? TNT has Golden State and New York. We're going to get to see Jalen Brunson. We were against Curry, two little guys. That's going to be fun, right? Friday night is Boston versus Dallas. Luka against the Dream Team. The Porzingis going back to Dallas, so that should be fun as well. So we'll be doing NBA the next 2 nights, and look forward to seeing you guys. Have a great rest of your night, everyone.
All right, goodbye. All. We'll chat tomorrow.